Welcome back, everybody, especially you listeners at home. You listeners at home are my favorite people that I like to wish back. Not these people that are sat here in live chat pretending to be like they're the proper listeners. They're not the listeners. They're the watchers. We don't rate them quite as highly. It's Sunday again today, at least on the live day it is. And that means Tribe Talks. It happens every week, I think. Well, like once a week or so.
It just happened last week. Okay.
It did. It was about 7 days ago.
All right.
There or thereabouts, give or take a daylight saving hour. And boom, you turn around and you know, life creeps up on you. And you're like, oh shit, well, I guess it's Monday tomorrow. We're going to start this whole thing all over again.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
so wild.
Hopefully next week comes with some kit reveals. That's what I'm
I
hoping for.
I would be surprised if we didn't, because they're running out of time to be timing this. So yeah.
Well, I mean, Bo-Katan's
what is the time of the timing?
Bo-Katan's event most likely is going to be sometime in January.
I can see that.
Probably towards the middle or
January.
end. Well, yeah, because it's going to be here before the Conquest starts in February, because that should be when her Datacron set drops, right?
That makes sense.
That way they can require her for a feat. That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, well, there's that. There's also
Sector 5 boss win with Bo-Katan Mandalore surviving.
Yeah, that's going to be a thing, by the way. That's just, we're going to call that right now.
It's happening.
But the
that's not even like a shot in the dark. That is just 100% guaranteed happening.
The next Datacron set starts next Conquest in December, and I don't know why they would release Bo-Katan's Datacron set, and she doesn't come out for a third of it or a quarter of it. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. So I'm assuming Bo-Katan's going to be late January.
Can we also call like Sector 1 feat get 20 kills with Paz Vizsla? Sector 2 feat.
There's gonna be a win 20 battles with Bo-Katan Mandalore, IG-12, Paz Vizsla, Bam, and the Armorer. You know, right? It's gonna be a thing. Like, they're gonna do it to us.
There are 5 characters, right? And there are 5 sectors. So each sector will have one feat related to Bo-Katan Mandalore. That's how it's going to
definitely will be a one with to kill 100 enemies with Keller and Beck.
It's got to be. Yeah.
But he's a Jedi, so that's like the easiest, like, throw under JML and you'll get it done kind of thing. But
you say that now, but he'll have a clause in his kit where he can't attack out of turn or something.
Oh my God! Right,
Keller and Beck's going to have a prescribed team. It's going to be win, 20 battles with Keller and Beck, Kit Fisto, I'm a Gun-Die, Luminaro, and Dooley. That's going to be his feat.
Heath Cod, and I like it. In Sector 5. In Sector 5.
Win 20 battles with Keller and Beck, and full Galactic Republic Jedi with Keller and Beck as the leader, and he has no leadership. That's what it'll be. It's just he doesn't have a leadership.
So shit.
CG, you have scarred us.
Yeah.
Dear God, look what you have done to us.
Dear CG, all right. Don't take note on this conversation. You need to,
or maybe you have to rescue. Like, one of the mini boss feats will have to be like rescuing Grogu from Order 66 from the Jedi Temple.
That'd be fun. I'd be okay with. That would actually be interesting. You're hitting like the nail on the head over here. Like, give me some interesting things. I mean, even in this Conquest, there are some interesting feats with some good mechanics and some stuff like that.
I actually agree. Yeah.
It's a puzzle. Give me more of that. Give me something fun and iconic rather than just this grindy bullshit that we can't do.
Give me more feats I can cheese in one battle. Okay, that's all I want. Okay. I love the Sector 4 and Sector 5 feats, because it's like, in one battle I can do like 3 out of the 4 if I put this team together. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. Just use one of your deployable cooling systems.
Yep.
An all hands on deck team. I'm still waiting for it. Yeah. I just need a hand that's got a good leadership with other hands.
Yeah, I mean, Stormtrooper Han has got a decent leadership.
He has a leadership.
I didn't say decent leadership. I said good leadership. Damn it.
Oh.
It is
all right. We'll get General Han Solo then. We'll get General Han Solo.
Yeah. Carbonite Han.
Man, you're
too cold to touch. He's a tank. He's a forced tank. Everybody else stealths while he's on the field, and any enemy that touches him suffers a new debuff called Carbonite Freezing, and they just freeze in place for 2 turns, and they shatter upon being hit by a physical attack. That's it. Can't be revived.
Two things. One, you remember April Fool's Day a couple of years ago when they released the kit for Carbonite Han? That was amazing. Yeah. Oh my god! Please keep doing random trolly shit like that. That was hilarious. But you're talking about like Captain Han or whatever, or Legendary Han, or some new sort of Han or whatever. I know we always joke we have enough Hans, we have enough whatever. I'm a little bit sad that it's Drogon hanging, like some character they just created to go hang out with Leia, as opposed to
been Han.
Endor Han. Yeah. Like, give us. I mean, for Jabba, they gave us like pretty much a whole new team. They gave us Chrysanthemum, they gave us Boushh Leia, they gave us Skiffguard Lando, and then whoever you want to use as the fifth. For this one, it was just, I love that they're giving R2 a spot. I love that they're giving R2 a spot, but it really feels like a missed opportunity for them to just, we're gonna make our own character. It was always my dream. Yay!
Yeah. I mean, I get it. It's there were plenty of actual existing Star Wars characters that they could use. But hey, if they wanted to make a character, that's fine. Representation is important and everything. I understand that. But did this have to be the place?
Is it?
It is. God damn it! To make me burst a blood vessel. I'm far too chill to burst a blood vessel.
You might get some color.
Jesus, I thought you were going to be harsh then. Hey, you might actually get some views then, Scribe. God.
Not where I was going, but all right. That's we know where Scribe's at.
That's the energy you were picking up on, honey. I'm not saying it. Oh, dear me. So, completely skipped any of the intro, but this is Tribe Talks. Welcome, everybody. We are known as the Welshman, the Wolf and the Whale, I guess. Now we are, after one episode of it. We talk about Star Wars sometimes Galaxy of Heroes, and sometimes other things. We historically have no agenda outside of talking shit for an unquantifiable amount of time, and have a good time doing it, mostly. I will say, normally...
You're supposed to have a good time? Oh, shit.
Yeah, that's written into the contract that we don't sign.
I didn't sign up for this.
Yeah,
I didn't agree to this. God damn it.
I want a refund. Wait, what?
I will give you back all the money you invested, Wolfie. Don't worry.
All right, cool.
What about all the money I've invested?
Sorry, God,
in this podcast specifically?
Yeah, this is just in the podcast. Only in the podcast, God.
Just the podcast.
The money that you sent me that I have wasted on hookers and blow, that's not coming back. I'm sorry.
Okay, all right. That's
Side
fine.
note, guys, that's called the joke. Don't tell Mrs. Scribble. All right? That is a joke. It is a joke. Of course, I wouldn't frivol away money on hookers and blow. I can frivol it away on CG's pixels. Okay, right? It's far more entertaining.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. Far
Speaking
more
of, I am almost close to nearly being ready to start farming Leia tickets. Yay!
Ooh,
look at you go.
Yeah.
Who's left?
Know, right? I've got 5 characters left.
Signal data?
No, it isn't actually. My holdup is Gear 12 pieces right now. Genuinely, I only need about a week's worth of farming of signal data, and then I've got all the signal data. Wow. But I just need to finish gearing Lobot.
You saved Lobot for last.
Akbar. Yes, I did very deliberately.
You think you? I'm telling
I've got the 3 walks and Lobot, so Urs would not be happy, I guess. And I've got to do someone else. Oh, Admiral Akbar. They're all Gear 12. I just don't... I have no Gear 12 pieces because some stupid emo sequels GL ate all of my gear. Greedy fuck.
There's packs in the store. There's packs in the store right now. You can go get Gear 12 pieces for $25.
I'm not whaling $25 on stupid Gear 12 pieces. I will whale my Mark 3 raid tokens and stuff. Mark 2. Do you understand me?
Yeah.
Our very unexciting raid for the next week.
In other news, our guild suffered a terrible loss today. It was a real terrible loss. Somebody's infected the guild with an STD known as Rambam. So he's apparently joined my guild, and all of a sudden, everybody's got strangely smelling odors coming out of their nether regions. I don't know what happened. It was suddenly everybody had a real bad feeling.
This is why we don't let him make the juice at the parties, okay?
Exactly. Don't touch the punch, guys. That's not punch.
He puts more than just his finger in it to taste it, all right?
Well, that's not a ladle he's stirring it with. Well, here's your problem there. And Death's Helm was another one of the people that joined, and he's already leaving. He's like, fuck, Ram's coming as well? God, no.
Yeah, I was not informed of this. Excuse me. You got to put this up front, like a disclaimer. All right?
Yeah.
A legal disclaimer every time.
Yeah.
So it happens, I guess.
It's one of those things. I'm not sure if I will ever recover from it. Mrs. Scribble will never look at me the same way ever again. It's so we're all in mourning right now, but hopefully he can maybe, I don't know, tell us what Tuscans do and explain to us how Hellsteel works. And we'll all be enlightened. We'll all be enlightened.
Wouldn't hold my breath, but all right.
Yeah.
It is not something you'll ever come to terms with.
It's you're in it for the long haul now. God damn. So yes. Yeah. Well, normally, Wolfie, yes, I would cheers to you, good sir. I have my bottle of Maker's Mark right here. However, I am doing a sober November, and I am 5 days in, baby, of no drink. And I tell you what's nice. It's nice waking up feeling like I haven't had a drink. That's good. So there's that. But that's the only nice part. I enjoy having a drink, as you know. So and my drunk
the glorious
GACs,
taste of
I do
whiskey across his lips.
I do. Which reminds me, I need to send you guys a Christmas present. Garth, I have your address. Wolfie, I'm going to have to slide into your DMs.
Ooh, baby.
Yeah.
So, guy sends you a hat one time, and now he's got your address for life.
Well, I assume you haven't moved like another 3 times or something, Garth. I don't know how frequently you move house.
I haven't. No, I've lived in the same house for about 5 years now.
That's actually a picture. He's got a green screen over there. So yeah.
Yeah. No, like when Garth moves house, what he means is he literally moves the entire house to a new area. He just like gets these massive cranes, lifts up the house, puts it somewhere else, and goes. Yeah, that's how Wales relocate.
I mean, you're
take
not
the house and move it over here.
No. When I relocate, I will just build a brand new house and move into it.
I don't need to look for any houses for sales. I just need a plot of land. I know.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm not going to build it. I'm just going to get my guys to build it for me. I'll just say, hey guys, I've got a new job for you today. Build my house, and job done.
They'll save me so much money.
Yeah, and you can write it off as a business expense. Job done.
And I can assume the loan at cost instead of having to pay myself a premium for building.
Yeah.
It. So there's that.
See, this is how the rich people stay rich, guys.
Yeah.
But although I would say the rich people don't stay rich if they keep playing Galaxy of Heroes and Heroes of Middle-earth. That's the real reason Carth hasn't built a new house yet.
Yeah. Honestly, the Heroes of Middle-earth is going to take a backseat for a little bit. The only way I progress meaningfully now is shard farming. And the home's prices on their shard packs has always been atrociously bad.
Except for the Hobbit pack.
Because that's 100% facts. But the because they just put one out for the trolls, Ironhide and Guru.
Yeah, I saw that.
100
shards each, like, right?
Yeah, $30 though for 100 shards. It takes 810 to max out a character. It's just like go pound sand, man. Like Like I don't understand why they're so stringent with the shards when it comes to those kind of packs. But I mean, whatever.
To be fair though, if they'd have released that pack when the game first dropped, I'm sure a load of people would have bought it. Now the brute is you can hard node farm him now. It used to be crystal or gems only, so people would have ate that up at the start. But no.
Real quick, who would have bet that of the three of us, the fucker wearing the Robin Hood hat is the one who doesn't play Heroes of Middle Earth?
No, couldn't have been me. Couldn't have been me. No, I mean,
oh jeez,
sounds like a missed opportunity. Wolf.
I would, Wolfie, I would highly recommend that you actually start not playing it more. Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm going to continue not playing it. Yeah,
don't even fucking bother.
I played it for a couple of hours and it was awful, so I stopped playing it. And it was a good choice.
Yeah, it's like that now. It's just like that now, except there are now like 23 more characters in the game and a raid that's not particularly fun. But it does have does have the best rewards in the game, so there's that.
The raid's not fun because the raid is clearly designed around 7-star teams, and you take so long to get there.
Yeah, it's a very slow progression in this game, but I understand why, because there's nothing to fucking do. So of course it's slow progression.
Well, yeah, but then there's nothing to fucking do. But then they just dump marquees on us like it's going out of style. Like this is reminiscent of the Old Republic release in 2017 for SWOGA. You know, it's like where we had like 3 marquees. Yeah, the year of marquees. We had like 28 marquees in 1 year.
Yeah, but we're on track to beat that because we're getting on average about 3 marquees a month right now, and it's been going for like 5 months. So if we get a year of that, we're literally talking 36 marquees in a year. Yeah, which is just ridiculous.
It's I mean, it is a new game. They're starting things off. They got to get all the factions built up and get all this stuff going. But
the thing is, though, they not handicapped. They pulled out like half the characters in the game that were in the beta.
Yeah, that were in the beta. Yeah,
and then they're adding them back as marquees. So they're characters that already existed. They probably literally have the first year of releases already slated. Yeah, I know. That's
pretty. That's
slimy,
why I
don't.
Wow, yeah, I'm glad I was my decision.
Yeah, I don't get why they are throttling progression down so hard and then just throwing marquees at the wall. Like you can't keep up. Like it is physically impossible to wail hard enough to keep up with what they're releasing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you can't get the upgrade materials for gear or their abilities fast enough.
Yeah, so this is CG off the chains. Okay.
Imagine having a bottleneck in Galaxy of Heroes that is training droids. Can you remember the last time you ever worried about training droids?
Droids.
Like training droids right now is like the equivalent of the XP tokens that they use in Heroes of Middle Earth. That is like a bigger bottleneck than the actual credits or gold in the game at the minute.
You just
gold
can't level up your characters.
Yeah, pretty much. And literally every single character, like their biggest stat improvement is going from 55 to 60, which takes almost as much. Which takes almost as much XP as going from 1 to 45. Just like.
Oh yeah, it's going to be exponentially scaling.
Yeah. It takes like 500,000 XP tokens to get a character from 1 to 60, and it'll take you the better part of 2 weeks to probably grind that much out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep, it's just super slow.
Yeah. Everything about that, like I've said before, I think in a year from now the game might be fun to play, but
probably.
Until then, it's just kind of like we're just getting through the slog of them getting everything out and running because they plan on doing their own version of mods here soon. They plan on doing their own version of GAC here soon. They're gonna flood in the content with that, but it's just not gonna.
Honestly, though,
be so overwhelming at the beginning.
I know we've just bitched about it for 5 minutes, but it's not really if you don't spend an inordinate amount of time trying to get really high scores in the raid, it's not really a time-consuming game to play. So, like, I quite enjoy unlocking characters and leveling them up and putting gear. I quite enjoy that aspect, watching your roster grow. Right? It's the same as Swigger. You like progression, right? You like, oh, I just hit gear 12. Oh, I just hit relics. Like that little dopamine kick is what I really play the game for. Some people,
this is just a hero collector game. Like, people aren't competitive. Exactly. People just like gearing things up and having their shiny characters at Relic 7, and that's what it is.
Exactly. So I'm low-key, slow farming the game for now, in the hopes that eventually it'll be good, and I want to have some experience and knowledge and see what it's like. So it's fine.
Sure.
It's fine. But don't play it.
At some point down the line, in case it gets good, maybe we'll be on top of things. But, don't waste your time.
So on this Galaxy of Heroes podcast, today we've spoken about anything but Galaxy of Heroes.
We had a brief moment so far. We just got distracted.
We flirted with the idea of talking about Galaxy of Heroes for a little bit, didn't we? So what's happened recently? We've had Paz. We've had no further stuff. I swear something happened recently that I was like, ooh, that got me tingly in my giblets. Bo-Katan Mandalore is coming at some point. Leia with the new toxic Leia comp that Karth was getting excited about. I still haven't got to fight that one yet. Like, for those at home, Toxic Leia is the new GL Leia with Drogon and R2, obviously, and then you throw in Han and Chewie as the last two, typically with the Drogon Chron and reduced damage, I believe, on the level 6 for the Datachron. Is that right, Karth? And the buffs on the basic?
Typically what you want is buffs on basic and reduced damage on the level 6.
So tell us, Karth, why is this comp so toxic?
More or less, it's because of all the additional attacks that come with it, but it's part of it is just what Han and Chewie's kits bring to it. You get an additional character that starts the battle ahead of everybody else that gets a guaranteed stun. So depending on what he does, it can really screw up your board, because you can, if you're playing it offensively, you can stun lock 2 characters at the beginning if you use Drogon's Keen Stratagem ability, and then he follows up with a basic that stuns or has a chance to. But he's got so much potency, I can't imagine why it wouldn't. And then Hans is unresistible, and then you get tenacity down from Chewie, but you also get % health damage on his basic as well. Chewie's got an AoE dispel that really helps kind of weaken like Jedi teams and stuff like that are gonna rely on that for protection.
Han and Chewie already shit out damage. You give them Keen Stratagem with all that extra offense from him. You give them a GL and all that shit. It's insane. That's what it comes down to. They just shit out damage.
And then you get guard then on both Han, obviously, because Han always gets it, but then also the weakest character gets guard. And that team is already so goddamn thick and chunky. You don't need guard on that team as well. God damn.
Well, guard is what screws up the slacker, right? Because you can't stun Drogon and you can't lock him out. You have to deal with it a different direction. So what I'm seeing, at least in my arena shard, with the people who are beating me, they're taking gas under JML for the AoE days, and they're modding him for a lot more potency. Okay. And the armor shreds do help kind of chew through some stuff, and the multi hits and reducing the max health and stuff like that. It does help kind of get through that, and then they're using Jedi Knight Cal and his Kron to then one shot Chewbacca or Drogon, whoever they need to get their hands on, and then they can clean it from there. So
yeah, it's not ideal. And people have said you're losing Han and Chewie from a CLS team, which it's. Let's not pretend like that's not a big deal. CLS is still a very strong offensive team, or even defensive, I suppose, to a point. You can theoretically, apparently, allegedly beat Jabba with CLS. People keep telling me this shit. All right. It can happen.
Known to happen.
Yeah, Gear 8 Jabba, it can happen. No, I'm joking. Obviously, guys, it can happen. Obviously, with the right datachron and good modding and everything like that.
Yes. That's what it comes.
So losing an effective CLS team. Yeah, you need Jabba not to be a douche nozzle about it and focus down your Chewie.
Exactly.
That's not nice when he does that. So it's a bit of a loss offensively, having to sacrifice Han and Chewie. But I imagine for a lot of people, the defensive benefits of throwing that on defense in GAC could potentially be worth it. I can see that sort of thing. If it just takes a wrong turn, if somebody misplays offensively, they might just find themselves in a position where they're like, well, shit, I guess I just can't kill this front wall layer, you know? And people can win GACs with the front wall. So.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. There's definitely times you put something in the bottom front where it's just like, okay, I can't get through this. Just give up. Cool. Great. Pack it in.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, it's demoralizing. It's shit, but hey, that's the game sometimes.
Yeah, and we are about to go into 5v5, so I'm sure we're going to see it on defense. At least Karth, I guarantee you see it on defense where you're playing. I'll probably see one or two. I haven't really come across many Leia players, and I've not ever matched up with one in GAC. I've seen them in my bracket, but I've not faced them. So I'm sure you see everybody with them.
Grace is what we were talking about earlier, is that if they do run that team, Drogon is very likely. I mean, if anybody's run that team at the top, they're going to have the Drogon crown. And if he has that extra health from this unique, I don't think there's any chance he's getting guard. Like, I don't know how you're going to be able to mod him with that much extra bonus and everything for him to be able to get guard. So you'd have
to have no health on him in his mods.
Yeah, you'll be able to stun with Slacker and everything. So you should be able to have that somewhat okay reliable in GAC. We'll see how that goes. We got to test that theory. That's a very grain of salt sort of deal, but potentially could work in the attacker's favor.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some potential with that. And like I said, Jedi Master Luke with Jedi Knight Cal and the Kron right now is still working against it. So it's not that it's still doable. But I mean, I think for the most part, if you're able to knock some of the, at the worst of it, Leia shouldn't be much more than a 2-tap. You'll need to knock out one or two characters, and then once they're gone, you can deal with the with cleanup after that. It shouldn't be that difficult, depending on what you start with. If you try to go in, and you get absolutely railroaded by, you try to use Jabba and it doesn't work, and then you go JMK, it doesn't work. Like, start with counters that are going to probably make a dent, like Slacker or JML, and then come back with the other ones.
That's exactly what I'm going to do. If I get matched up in GAC against someone with Leia, I'm just saying, fuck this. I'm going to have to save at least these 3 teams just to deal with her. Because I know if I had that GL advantage, if I was the guy who had GL Leia against somebody that doesn't, you're goddamn right I'm setting that front wall defense. And I'd be like, yeah, that's your problem to deal with now. So I'm going to make sure that I've got as many counters in my back pocket to that particular team as I possibly can. I mean, I'll probably just straight up lose because I went 3-0 in the last week at 3v3. So I'm probably about to find myself in some deep and dark waters where I really don't belong. Yikes.
Poor soul.
Yes, poor unfortunate soul.
Yeah.
But hey, I get those extra 20 crystals a day from being in Kyber 1. Yeah.
I think
although it may be easier, that was the one thing that they said in the last week. It may be easier for you to stay in Kyber 1.
Oh, yeah, that was the big news. Yeah, the skill squish adjustments. Yeah, we'll talk about that as well.
That's what it was. Yeah. That's what it was. Sorry, just
who doesn't like a good squish?
Light bulb clicked.
Yeah, had to. Karth was going to say something there, but we rudely interrupted. Karth, what were you going to say, buddy?
Oh, just when it comes to using Slacker versus Leia, it's probably going to need to be an iteration that includes Watt and or the Armorer.
That's okay by my book, to be honest.
Which, yeah, because for what C does now offensively, he typically doesn't need to go with Watt anymore. Because they're just not GLs you're punching up against anymore. Usually it's going against Malgus or something of that nature, so you're not as worried about it.
A lot of times Set can babysit pretty well.
Yeah, especially since everyone has him at R7 now. He's a pretty durable tank. But I would assume it would probably be some combination of Watt and Armor to get the protection recovery, which you may not want to use the tank tech per se, because if you get ambushed on your Slacker, you lose all your protection, so you might want to look at maybe running the med kit instead.
Yeah.
Unless you're worried about ability blocks from that level. There's one of the level 6 crons that does ability block.
Yeah, but if they have that cron, then you're infinitely better off than going against the reduced damage cron.
Because I was going to say, because they don't have that 75% less damage cron, so you should be able to chew through them a lot quicker, right?
Okay. Yeah. So your tank should be able to eat it in the short long because they can only apply ability block if nobody else already has it. So let crew and boss eat it in the face or whatever tank you got to be using there. Yeah. But the other thing too is that if you want Slacker to work at all,
oh no,
you have to have the buffs on basic, and you have to have the ramping defense level 6 for UFA.
I was expecting you to say Malicos.
No.
It's okay because I have that too.
That cron is going to be so vital because if you'll need to run crew and Slacker together, but when either one of them uses their basic, they gain 3 buffs. That's 15% damage or 50% defense. Sorry. So every time crew's counterattacking, he's using his basic, which is giving him 3 buffs. So every time he's doing something, Slacker is ramping defense because it's whenever UFA gains, all UFA allies gain that defense. So it's just gonna ramp really hard, and then you'll get to the point where
would you go in with like Slacker, crew, Malicos, what armor?
You could. If you had like a Malicos, well, I don't know if you'd want a Malicos cron because you really don't want him to get whacked on. But that wouldn't be a bad shout, or you could just do both OG crews, or you could pick up a different UFA. But Malicos wouldn't be a bad one for that. That's the only way I see that functioning with Leia is that you just need to ramp your defense so hard that it doesn't matter that Drogon's rocking 300% offense. You're going to go through 600% defense. You just need to survive long enough to get there. So I think kind of that would be my initial go-to if you didn't want to put Malicos on defense in 5s. Him, crew, and Slacker with like the armorer and Watt would probably be a reliable one-shot.
Okay.
And I'm getting like fucking anxiety attack from this conversation right now. Get all of the defense, all of the offense, and stack of this, and stack this, and stack this, and this. In particular, is just like fucking. Remember when this game was like, oh yeah, spin the counters and it's fun. Let's get everybody. Holy shit! It's just. Yeah. Woo! All right.
Wolfie's going to go to bed tonight, and he's going to be like, "Dear diary, today was a bad day. Fuck datacrons."
Oh, jeez, it's just like. I mean, like we've talked about this before. I appreciate that you need the datacrons to mix things up a little bit, and it keeps the GAC from getting too stale. And yeah. At some point, holy crap, guys, let's tone it down just a little bit here. There's some level of this absurdity where it's with all this like 400% defense and the damage reduction and the stacking this and the stacking that. It's just it gets out of hand.
These last 2 datacron sets have just felt like it's like Timeout City, man. Like. I don't want to. I know we have a 5-minute timer for battles. I really don't actually want to be in the battle for 5 minutes. I'd like to be in the battle
for some of these battles.
I would like a real solid 45 seconds. If you follow me, like the best 45 seconds that I could possibly have is the sweet spot, I think, for GAC battles and for arena battles and TW battles.
I don't know if I could deal with the 45 minutes of foreplay. To make that.
20 minutes of cuddling after you've cleared a zone.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm ready for that. I'd rather take a few minutes longer in the battle and just kind of be in and out.
I mean, and then you got to go and have a shower afterwards and have a cuddle.
Probably should anyways.
I mean, yeah. So this Swigger podcast, we are still talking about. It's totally Swigger related. This is So should we talk about the great squishing and the changing of GAC skill points and matchmaking? because it's a bit of a hot potato topic right about now. What I will say, based on what I read and how I understood it, feel free to correct me, ladies and gentlemen of the tribe, is that they heard our cries of, oh my God, Kyber 1 is tiny. Like it's been gradually getting smaller and smaller the whole time. It feels like it used to be about 4,000 plus players in Kyber 1, and now it's about, at the end of it, about 1,300 players maximum, which, is quite a lot smaller, which conversely just made it harder to be in Kyber 1, which hurt my ego massively. And that's the real reason why CG is changing it, is because they want to pander to my ego. No.
Very good of them.
Yeah, it's very kind of them. They come around for dinner once a week, so we have a chat about the things that are irking me about the game, and then they swiftly fix them. That's not even slightly true. But my understanding is that based on the post they put out, they didn't actually say Kyber 1 is going to be more accessible. They said Kyber is going to be more accessible. They didn't say Kyber 1. They said, like, all of Kyber, to my knowledge. So I don't know if Kyber 1 is actually going to be easier. I'm going to assume it is, because they're basically talking about everything everybody's been moaning about without specifically stating Kyber 1, which is the part that really confused me a little bit. I'm hoping that Kyber 1 does become more accessible, because I think it shouldn't be just the top 1,000 players. I think that Kyber 1 should be representative of the best players, but I think they should actually scale the top-end rewards to be better, without taking away from what is currently in place. SDG, don't be sneaky now. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of interested to see, but it feels like we've got too little information at the moment. Apparently it's going to take like 4 to 6 months for everything to fall out and everybody to settle where they should be. So what are your thoughts, guys?
2 to 4 months for players around. I just pulled the post up while you were talking over this to refresh my memory on the on what exactly
that makes sense.
They said, because they did say Kyber League and not specifically Kyber 1, because a lot of the posts and a lot of the complaints and everything was about Kyber 1 specifically, and that squishing happening over there. I gotta go back and check Taliana's video that she had put. It was how long ago was that video posted? Like a year ago?
About a year ago. Yeah.
A while.
I think it's pretty much what started that whole thing. But the look at the squish and how things were going. I think it was what they was originally formulated for 4 weeks on and 1 week off, and then when it changed to 3 weeks on, 1 week off, it no longer worked anymore, and that was like the result. I think that was like what they were saying was the result of the cause of that whole thing. I'm glad they're finally acknowledging it. I'm glad that I'm. They had ignored us for I don't know how long on this thing, so it's good that they're finally taking notice of it. It would be cool if there was a clarification. I guess we'll have to. They're not going to clarify further than this. I think this is as much data we're really going to get. We're just going to have to see what the actual data gets us for Kyber 1 in the future.
I mean, we know the formula takes effect starting with the GAC season that's going live in 2 days. The thing of it is, though, and the important part to keep in mind, we'll monitor on our end, is how many points you're gaining and losing from winning. And
it's normally that's going to be like 30 to 45 points usually.
Yeah,
right?
Usually the first week is the most aggressive point gains. You typically get closer to the 40s when you're in your first week of the season, and then as the weeks go on, you get less and less average points for winning and losing as you continue to go, and then sometimes even getting on streaks, you will get less points hitting multiple streaks than you will if you go win one, lose one, win one, that kind of mentality. So we can probably pretty easily see it. The big thing I think is going to be the obvious first thing to notice is to see how much people squish going into the season starting when we can join up. That's going to tell us if we're still losing 100 points in Kyber 1.
I'll be like, what the fuck? I'm in Kyber 4. What happened?
You said aggressive, but this is ridiculous.
I mean, and the thing is too, though, is I don't mind the chaos that's going to come from this, because I know it's going to happen, because you're going to get people that are going to climb way too hard, way too fast, and they're going to get into a whole season of just getting their dick punched back in because they went like 7-2, gained 400 points, and now they're fighting 13 million GP accounts with their 4 GLs and 8 million GP, and so it's like, I think you're going to have some of that radical stuff that kind of swings back and forth, and then it'll kind of sense. But I mean, they're giving us 4 seasons for it to happen.
Is that really any worse than the bitching we see currently about people matching up with guys that have got 4 million more GP and 5 extra GLs?
Yeah, and that's the thing too.
To be clear,
is
this doesn't address that at all?
No, as far as we know, it's not going to change anything.
No, they haven't, and I think that's probably a bigger issue. To be honest, a bigger issue is what do you do with those players that either don't give a fuck about 3v3 and they'll take all their losses throughout the entire 3v3 season, and these guys have got 12 million GP and they just plummet in skill rating, and then they just stomp on children basically when it goes back to 5v5, and those children cry to their mom and dad on Reddit or on the Facebook.
Well, and that's the thing too group. Is that when you're looking at hundreds of thousands of matches and you get a few hundred people that are upset because of the matchmaking process, how much credence do you put to that mentality? You can't stop it from happening. CG has been very clear that the system they have in play right now, and even what they plan on expanding to, there's no way to get rid of it or to change it or do anything different without overhauling the entire system again for how it should work. So you're never gonna get out of that mentality of where they're at right now. The thing is that you just need to try to do something to help and minimize it, but it's never going to change. If you have players that are about collecting, or they're just about doing things at their pace and they're going to fall down, they're going to be 11 million GP players in a rhodium or chromium or bronzium or wherever they end up being. I know there's some that are crazy low. You can't get around it, but it's not everybody that's having that experience, and so that's the hard part when it comes to
it's the vocal minority, right? It's not everybody has got 2 million GP is facing 10 million plus GP accounts, right? It's just when it does happen, you're going to hear about it. And I can sympathize. I don't think those matchups should exist. It's not fun to go into GAC and being like, well, I absolutely have zero chance here, unless, the guy just doesn't do anything. But
yeah, but that was a
some of the fixes I always suggested, have a floor. So if you're this GP, you're this whatever, you can't drop below Kyra, you can't drop below Chromium, and something basic like that I can get behind, just to make sure that the matchups don't get too ridiculously insane. Something small, like a limiting, just like a floor for as far as you can drop, that I can get behind. But you got to be careful, or else, like you said, you got to overhaul the entire system to avoid something like that actually happening. Otherwise,
and we know that CG doesn't have all the time and all the manpower in the world to address all of these sort of inconsistencies across the game. Well, I don't want to call them inconsistencies. All of these little issues in the game, right? They can't just go.
Too busy testing everything.
They're too busy testing all of the GL events to make sure that nothing happens in Jabba's Ultimate Tier or in GL layers Tier 2 or Tier 4.
That's a cheap shot I had too.
or even in the JMK GL. They need to make sure that those things run without a hitch. They need to make sure that there's no missing button bugs, and they need to make sure that the balance of the game is completely on par when you go to do dark side fleet missions in Rise of the Empire. These are the things that take up their time.
Hey, we have a consistent strategy now for beating at least Mustafar mission.
Yeah, just have enough GP that we don't have to do the fleet mission.
No. You can actually do it consistently now. Yeah, it just requires you put the Mark 6 interceptor in the front lineup, because the AI is programmed to go after it, and since it starts with all those stacks, it doesn't die
quickly enough.
And they can't kill it quickly enough, and you can get your setup and you can go. It does not work well in phase 2 as far as I've tried so far, but I tried to do Leviathan with it in the front. So I don't know if that's going to change, but maybe if I try to do the Empire lineup again with it, it could work. I don't know. I feel like the Geo one is a speed race. So I think Empire still might be the better.
I'm still genuinely convinced that they made those missions so hard with the expectation of Leviathan coming in and like making a mockery of it, and then they completely forgot to balance Leviathan to beat those CMs, and then they just go like, oh shit, yeah, we were supposed to give Leviathan some sort of really special unique that makes it amazing in TB, and we forgot about that. Oh well, who cares? Let's move on. Nah. That's what it feels like. Because it's just so dumb.
Yeah, those ones are ridiculously tuned. Like compared to the light side fleet missions, the neutral fleet missions, like those ones are just. I don't know what the hell they were thinking.
The damage output is nutty.
Do they test their shit? This is like a running joke, and it's a bad joke. But guys, come on, like what's the deal here?
Yeah. I don't know.
Nobody knows.
A couple of times, but it's.
Oh, so have I. But it's just like they need to cooperate, and it's like. Please hit the right people at the right times and do not kill anybody and spread out your attacks and make sure you're okay, cool. You have allowed me to win. Thank you. Thank you, TB, for graciously allowing me a victory. That's what it feels like.
The other side of it is though, is that you don't need to beat those fleet CMs in order to get the stars that you need. I mean, obviously this is dependent on the size of the guild, but
it depends where you are, your attack strategy, where you're getting your stars, that sort of stuff, Because there are certainly some phases where we need to get some combat missions. There are like somewhere, all right, we care about phase 1, but we don't care about phase 3. Phase 5, go hardcore, but phase 6 is whatever. So stuff like that. There will be a few of them where it actually does matter for CMs. Most of the time, it doesn't.
But I mean, I've had it on real good authority from my officers that I don't need to do anything in TB. So they've told me.
Those are good officers.
Yeah, there's some.
I told you specifically for phase 6 of TP that you didn't need to do anything. Specifically, just phase 6.
Yeah, but I took that and I just ran with every phase is phase 6. I mean, if I don't have to do anything on the hardest phase, because it's the latest one, it must be the hardest. That means on the easier phases, I definitely don't have to do anything. Cart said all they need is my Relicate Echo, and jobs are good. Yeah,
you do realize that Ram is going to clip that and will never do anything in TB. Congratulations.
No, this only applies to me. I'm the only Galaxy of Heroes streamer content creator within Mighty Chlorians that doesn't have to do dick, apart from give my Relicate Echo. Ram has to do his combat missions twice. Death's Helm, this doesn't apply to you either, mate. You have to do combat missions and platoon your operations immediately.
I mean, the thing of it is, though, in like where our guild specifically is at, like you need to do like the 2 fleet battles, which is basically light side and middle, and then like a ground mission or 2, like do the Jabba one on auto because it's easy as shit.
Oh god, yeah.
And then pick one other, and then that's like the CM requirements that we have. It's like you need about 1 million to 2 million most days on the average for every guild member. The later phases that gets easier and easier when one fleet battle in phase 4 is almost 1 million points. Getting 2 million for the day is going to take you a grand total of 5 minutes inside of TB. So it's not that hard. It's just that you need people to engage with it, but it's the earlier stuff, it just depends on where we're at. Because like phase 1, we need like, I think phase 1, we need less than 10% CM completion to hit 3 stars on all planets.
Yeah. We're big now. We're big
But
boys.
phase 2 or phase 3 requires us to do like 70% because of, it's because the, all of the specific like uses, like you have to have a 7-star profundity to do the fleet battle, you have to have a 7-star executor to do the fleet battle. That
don't even get me started on the fact that there are people in our guild without 7-star profundity and executor.
Yeah.
This is a 550 million GP guild. Why the fuck do you not have a 7-star Leviathan? Is a 7-star Leviathan I can actually get behind. Sorry, I mean Profundity.
Yeah.
Like
Profundity
fucking honestly, point, guys. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
On a bike and with an ice cream in one hand.
Death Helm, I feel attacked.
He's like, I have 4 accounts, damn it! This is your fault, not mine.
Get rid of all of your other accounts. Just focus on the one that's in Mighty Chlorians 3. And that is now... Get your fucking 7-star Profundity. God damn it, Death Helm.
There you go. Get the important things done.
I mean, a good amount of those fleet battles can be done with either Home 1 or Negotiator, so you're not completely shit out of luck.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So,
one of them's required, doesn't it?
First, Kashek is required Profundity.
Aside from that one.
But
I said most of them, damn it.
Phase 2, which I believe that's Baraka. Baraka is really challenging without Profundity because of the scythe comp that they use there, because it's scythe with executor.
Oh yeah, that scythe is a dickbag, man.
It's scythe with executrix on phase 2.
Maybe that's what CG
phase
did.
3 is scythe with the chimera.
With CG's testing, do you think they used the scythe that's in the combat missions on Braca? Because that thing is thicker than a snicker, man. That thing actually doesn't die. It just lives forever.
And it hits like a goddamn truck.
Yeah, that one.
They use.
That's what they use. Yeah. They're like, I don't know what you're complaining about, guys. This is easy. And you're like, fuck, give me that scythe. Jesus.
Well, that's
mine's made of paper.
Easy.
That scythe is R10 all pilots.
Yeah.
So
level 100
and 7A mods. Yeah, and level 100.
7A mods level 100. Like, why can't you win? I don't understand. This is
this is easy. This is easy, guys. Fuck.
Clearly skill issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you had a test account, you would get this just fine, I promise.
Yeah.
Get good.
Yeah.
All right.
It's one day, Meathead is going to come in here and he's going to give me access to a test account. He's going to be like, Scribble, you're so nice and generous to all of us people at CG. Here, have a test account and do with it what you will. And honestly, guys, I would probably be like the worst person to give a test account to, because I probably wouldn't use it. I'd probably be like, hey guys, I've got this test account, but I can't be fucked to actually test anything. So it's just going to sit there. I'll log into it in a month's time.
I'm making videos.
Like just logs in to see what characters are being loaded onto it. Just
exactly. That's all I would do. If you gave it to someone like Xaereth or Fatal, they'd probably come out with all this like really cool shit, all these cool team comps, and I'd just be there like, that's quite a cool character. I don't have time to play with this. Fuck no. Let me go back to my little baby account that doesn't have Afro.
The important things.
Yeah. The important things in life, yeah. So actually, this is something we can bring up. We were having a discussion in my patron chat earlier with Slan Baggery, who is one of the guild leaders of Rising Phoenix, which is the original guild that I was in when I was a young warthog. And he was talking about the fact that...
young warthog!
When he was a young warthog! Yeah, great song.
All right, continue.
We actually did break out into song, and that one did come out recently. So, this was the Track Talks karaoke episode on Friday night.
Oh it
was a good time. It was great.
You and Ranger just going crazy. Holy crap!
Yeah. Monty Python to Disney. It was a good time.
It was a lot of fun.
So yeah, we were talking about this, and Rising Phoenix are about. I think they want to say they're about 500 mil GP now, and they hit 37 stars, which was just shy.
They're just shy of.
Oh wow!
Yeah, just shy.
Yeah, so they hit 37 stars because like their whole focus is we want to push stars on TB. So they've been relic mining stupid shit for a couple of months to get a couple of operations done. And the conversation turned to, is it actually a good use of your relics, your investments to push for extra stars in TB? Now, Karth, I don't know if you project manage our TBs in the guild, or if you're just involved in that circle. But you have a pretty strong stance on this.
I plan all of it.
Okay, there you go. And he pays for it as well. He pays for everybody's
I am
TB.
Mr. TB.
I like it. Mr. Tuberculosis over here.
Yeah. I don't care about stars in TB, but that's just because the way it it looks like mathematically the investment into getting an extra star for the rewards for something you get twice a month is pretty high. If you want to get somewhere between 37 and 39 stars, which we could get 39 stars if we would start working on the platoons for phase 5, we could hit that no problem. But our issue really comes down to the fact that it's so many R9s for the guild that you can do, for every one R9 you do, you can do 2 R8s. And at the point where that I brought up when we were talking in patron chat was, you look like the raid, like everyone was like, well, the raid's not really worth it. It's a lot of investment for R8s to get it. But like when we started like really pushing for the 265 box, like the return on investment is ridiculously good. It's like
I think people are really sleeping on how much value you get from going from a 130 box to a 265 box in crate, and I assume it's going to be similar for the new Endor raid. Like that, that value is huge.
And you get that payout though 8 times a month, not twice. So it's like 37 stars in TB is one more impulse detector, and then basically one more of every reward you get. So instead of getting like 24 of the low tier Sunetta, you get 25. And I'm like, okay, so in the grand scheme of things,
you get one more of each signal data.
Yeah, you get a minor
difference.
Yeah, boost. But it's like when you do
after 55 TBs, you've recouped the signal data that you cost to do that 1 R9 you needed to do for the guild.
Yeah. So after a year's worth of TBs.
Yeah, after a year's worth of TBs, you're nearly there.
But that's the thing, is like you just put so much investment into getting that 1 star, and I just don't think it's worth it as the direction to push. I think you'd be much better off in totality pushing all the get missions and maxing out Zepho.
Getting Zepho done
before you want to look at going higher into the later sectors.
I brought it up in the patron chat saying that I would much rather take that time and relicate everything I need to for the new Endor raid, because I feel like that is going to be a better investment for everybody.
Well, 100%.
Because it's no relic 9s will be needed.
But the raid's not worth it, Scribe. God.
The raid is God damn it, Scribe. The raid's not fucking with. Yeah, but I mean, come on. Like, no relic 9s are required. Relicate characters, a bunch of good characters required for that raid. And you'll get a lot more. And like Garth was saying, you get to run it 8 times a month instead of 2 times a month.
Well, the new one will be 4, but you get double the rewards.
But you get double
it's going to it'll pencil out to be the same. But
exactly.
But that's my point. It's like if you had to do, like for our guild, if we wanted to do all of the Sector 5 planets, everyone would have to average out about 4 to 5 R9s per person to then be able to fill platoons. Which, some people are going to get good ones.
4 to 5 R9s. So, are we talking about 4 to 5 years payoff then?
Yeah, well, but you can
the stars that we get.
You could do about 10 R8s for that same investment cost, right? Mm-hmm. So, it's like, okay, if you were to put the effort into R8 enough characters to get your 5.4 equivalent so that your guild can get the 265 box, with getting that additional chunk of Mark III currency, I mean, like for us, we get 2,300 a raid with the current one, roughly, plus whatever you get on your personal track. That's that's an additional 5 impulse detectors every raid, or well, not really impulse detectors, but arrow magnifiers. Impulse detectors are a little bit more expensive, but that's 5 more per raid. You technically can get about 14 per raid when you're at the 265 box. So that means every week you're generating enough currency there to get basically enough impulse detectors to take a character to R8, and then start working on those whatever you need to fill in the rest of it on. And so it's like you do that for a couple months, And you're going to have those materials more and more readily available to move your roster up through the relic levels. It's, like the problem we're always going to run into is signal data, because that's the main limiting factor on some of that progression. But
I think it's just important to see, I'm sure somebody's probably done it, but what is the cross-section of operations that are also end or raid requirements?
Oh, it's pretty low.
Is it? And it does. I suppose it ultimately won't matter, because you kind of need to finish the operations rather than get a character or two.
When you look at the end or requirements, 5 of those characters are before TB ever came out, and so CG has not added anything new to platoons yet. So,
and I'm hoping that continues to be the case. Let's keep those platoons static, guys.
Well, if there's new planets, it'll be new platoons.
Yeah, and that might be a different thing. I would love to see Mandalore show up in TB. I think that's actually on the horizon, to be honest with you. But
I wouldn't be surprised.
It's supposed to work like that, where they can just add in planets and everything. So I mean,
it's been about a year since they added the last one.
I mean,
when Zepho came sometime.
Yeah, but they added Zepho a year ago, but people have only literally started accessing Zepho in the last couple of months, right? Like consistently, at least. So it's it might have been released long ago, but fuck, nobody's actually been doing it.
Well, yeah, nobody was quite.
The content's been out, Scribe. Come on, it's been accessible content for months.
That's old content now, Scribe. Jesus,
it's 100% comes down to the fact that nobody was anticipating Zepho having a 30 character lockout. So it's like, unless everyone wailed on the Jedi Knight Cal or requirements, the odds of everyone in a guild having that, and then it has proven fairly difficult. It is not the easiest mission to run for a lot of people, and like we had an extraordinarily high fail rate with ours. We were, I think, 7 successful out of 24 runs.
Yep, I was one of the ones that dropped. Granted, no, I don't think anybody threw the Omicron on. And everybody, I want to say everybody remodded. I remodded and still lost. So,
yeah, I think we had a couple people that did it after the run because they wanted to make that improvement, and we'll address it when we get to a few more things kind of shaken loose. We kind of wanted to get through the new people showing up before we started doing anything too crazy. But
hell, man, after running it once, I know it was the first time, and I didn't really research. I did fully remod for it, but it was just like they just focused down Seer in Wave 2 and killed her really quickly. I was like, well, I'm fucked. So I killed Second Sister, but
which stance you start in going into Phase 2 is important, and then just some of the modding. It's like Seer just needs to be bulky as hell, and for a lot of people, it's really hard to get a defense set that still gets her relatively fast and has the bulk they're looking for. So
I need to check out what I actually had, because obviously I've saved the mod set that I used, because it was just hot utils that I used based on the recommended hot utils mod loadout. So my Seer for that mission had 270 speed, 110k protection, and 70k health. So I'm sure that should have been fine.
I'm trying to figure out why protection's a thing on that character. I still don't know why they mod for protection on her.
I just went in sight unseen, and my Cal was.
I pulled the guide out of what MC has in the Alliance, and it's nowhere close how I modded my characters. Like nowhere close. Nowhere close. Didn't even like resemble it slightly, and I had two. I mean, both my runs were comfortable. The alternate was a little less than the main.
Also, reminder: Karth has got Relic 9 Jedi Knight Cal and probably Relic 8 Seer, I would assume.
Yeah, on the main account. Yeah, and then the alternate account has R7 Seer and R8 Jedi Knight Cal.
So same as what I went in with. Yeah.
Yeah, The R8 really helps, but yeah, definitely Seer feels a lot less reliable, but that's also a big portion of it is because she's an evasion mastery as well. So having that additional relic level really kind of helps.
Oh, for sure.
Get those procs to happen a little bit more frequently. But like for when I ran the mission, let's see, because I have my loadout still saved in my.
Okay, so we can compare.
I'm trying to look through her kit right now to see where so she has like protection over here in her unique, but that's just protection for each light side unlocked force user, which there are none if it's just her and Jedi Cal.
Exactly.
And then her leadership gives her health and protection, unless you're just trying to like protect against percentage health damage. Are you really worried about any percentage health damage?
I don't think there's that many in that mission. To be honest, I don't think there is. I didn't think so.
Yeah.
So I don't know. My Seer loadout is
because you get protection up. So I don't know.
And that's based on max health, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is why I thought max health would be the better way to go.
So the only thing that would make sense to me would be you're protecting against percentage health damage, and if that's your only thing you're protecting against, and that's your only worry, then I haven't run the mission enough times to be familiar enough with it to say, oh yeah, obviously this person does hella percentage health, and this is clearly the reason. But that would really be the only reason if you mod for defense and protection over health. Just if you're worried about that.
My Seer, she was rocking 3 defense sets.
Sure.
She has health primaries on everything besides the diamond and the square.
Yep.
So she is at 93,000 health, 72,000 protection, 252 speed. And then she's got 73% armor.
Yeah, that's like 5% more armor than me, which is huge at that, because obviously armor scales, doesn't it? So me having 67% armor and you've got, what do you say, 73? So 6% more? That's actually, that 6% is a huge difference. Yeah, it's a huge difference.
Yeah, but mine is R8, so there's a part of that comes from her relic levels.
Okay. That makes sense.
But that's how I had her modded, and on that run I felt I did not feel like I was struggling at all to do the fight. Now on the other one I did feel like Seer struggled more, but Cal felt fine the entire time. So but I also didn't mod my Cal the way they suggested for that either, because I modded him for a speed set and potency instead of modding him for
health and speed.
Tons and health. Yeah. So, but again, R9 does factor in quite a bit, but the speed, the set I had on him had him at 103k health, 74k protection, 316 speed, 95% potency, and
that's huge potency. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because his crossguard stance, you want to land that force influence, like them not getting defense up or critical hit immunity or buffs in general is helpful. But then you're also more consistently landing the single target stun with whirlwind that you can get, and I think that's the only one that puts out abilities. So between crossguard and whirlwind stance, getting the guaranteed stuns, I feel like helps control the battle more because they can't call each other to assist when they do their bullshit. And then, but yeah, that's just how I interpreted it. And then they were like, "Oh, here's the guide," and I was like, I read through the strategy. I'm like, strategy makes sense, so I just threw it out there, and then realized halfway through that I had done completely different from what they asked.
Get your insta-kill ready, get your stuff, get it out. I mean, that's pretty much what it stacks up to. I mean, swap your stances back and forth and get your insta-kill ready, and yeet the bitch in round 2, and you're good to go, right?
I mean, I got to the insta yeet, I killed her, but by that point, Seer was already dead, so it just fell apart. Because my Cal was 300 speed with nearly 130k health, but he had no potency. It was all survivability and health. And if Seer's dead, it doesn't matter. Like, it's just
that's where the whirlwind Ami really helps, because it recovers health and protection for all allies, and then it gives protection up to all allies. And so it really helps stabilize that because Cal then acts as a support unit in TB and can heal Seer back up and protect her a little bit. So the Omicron will make
without
it
OG
easier.
Cal, there's not a lot of healing in that team.
No.
Yeah, he really does provide a lot of that thickness and recovery and everything. It's
but then you do
miss
nothing
him a
the
lot.
entire. Yeah, but then you do nothing the entire fight because the damage is so stupid low.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, I'm just gonna tickle you for the next 20 minutes while I try to win. But yeah, it'll be interesting to kind of get more put together on that. I
mean, I don't want to have to throw the Omicron on. It feels very much like CG is obviously trying to incentivize the Omi to make people, hey, want access to Zepho? Well, you get ready to deal with either insane levels of modding and a little bit of RNG, or throw on this Omicron and it'll be a hell of a lot easier for you.
It's basically 3 avenues, right? Is what I'm seeing right now. If you want to do it at R7, you need good edging on god tier mods.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to do it, well, and the right strategy. If you don't want to do it with god tier mods, then you need to increase your relic levels. If you don't want to do that, then the next option is go with the Omicron, and then that'll simplify a lot of it. And so
I think for a lot of guilds, that's what people are. I think a lot of guilds would rather throw on a TB Omicron than put more relic level. Because, like I said, I did relic 7, relic 8, relic 7 Seer, relic 8 Jedi Knight Cal, and it with remodding, I almost feel like the recommended modding is just wrong. I don't think it works.
That's what I thought too. I couldn't.
Well, the one that was circulated.
The one I can't understand why the way Fatal had it done. I understand the way he's got it going. I don't understand how MCs was supposed to work, but it didn't make sense to me. Running out of time. I'm gonna put my own thing together.
It was definitely a case of I didn't have time to check and read and do it, so I just ran the recommended mods because I've got pretty decent mods, not amazing mods, but probably more than good enough for that mission. And I just went in and rushed it. So next time I'll get it nailed properly.
Well, and we kind of came out pretty early on. I mean, like, we don't think we even have enough people that can do the mission for it to matter. So we weren't like hardcore being like,
next time we should.
Next time we should be over the line because we got 46 Jedi Knight Cals in game. I think 14 of them are not at R7 yet. And then I think there's an equal number of people that don't have Seer to that level. So that still puts us at 32 people that can do it. So our fail rate can't be very high, but I know there was quite a few people that were like, yeah, for sure, next TB I'll have it. I'm just in the middle of Leia. And we're like, well, that's fine.
Give me 5 minutes, guys. I just need to take a short break. If you guys can carry for a bit, bear with.
Sure.
Very good.
He's got to go do some important things, probably El Baño related.
Oh, yeah. So I didn't actually get a chance to try the mission because I ran out of relic materials. Having nothing to do with a Relic 9 Kira. Absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with that. But I ran out of relic mats, so I didn't get a chance to actually try the mission this go around. But I will be trying it next time. So what was the recommended? You said was like tons of health on him, and
but
you did speed.
The guide that we had from MC, it recommends.
There's a lot of talking. I just want to simplify what we're going over here.
On Seer, it recommends 270 speed, 110 protection, and then running health defense sets.
Cool.
Cal Kestis.
Fuck Cal. Jedi Knight Cal.
I think that it's the same for both.
That seems like a mistake.
Yeah, I'm with you.
That can't be right.
But
it's the same mods for both of them. They're completely different characters.
Specifically for Jedi Knight Cal. They just just say Cal Kestis, but the strategy is for Jedi Knight Cal, so it's got to be the one they're referring to. So for Jedi Knight Cal, it's 285 speed or above, 125k health, all health sets, all health primaries.
Oh.
And then
so just
this
fucking thick as hell.
Yeah, and the strategy is basically just swap between dual wield and double bladed till you get to the insta kill.
Just get your 30 stacks,
and then do that and do it again and do it again and do it again. And then basically use your shield up ability relatively sparingly. Because it doesn't really do anything, honestly. But yeah, it's not that crazy. It's just I don't really understand why you want to go full health on Jedi Knight Cal, because you still want to control the board. I feel like potency is something that's being missed, but I like being faster, because I was looping the crap out of the enemy team with my Cal being at 316. So I don't know. I don't like how they had this one set up. I don't understand why they want Seer at 110k protection. It makes no sense to me. She can't recover protection on her own. I don't understand it at all. It doesn't make any sense to me as to why they've required it.
This does not make sense. Sorry.
Mole, no, they don't. They aren't requiring it on the strategy. I would definitely put a potency cross potency set, but with a speed set. Still health primaries everywhere else.
Trend and everything. Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, because I still had 110k health on my Cal, so 15k less.
Here's always the thing. Always the thing when there's the asterisk.
Mine's
what
R9.
relic level? R9. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Karth absolutely knows his shit. He knows what the fuck he's doing. He runs train on so much stuff. But there's always the asterisk of, oh, by the way, everything is relic 9. So just take that as
I have the ability to right now to play it with an account that has more of the minimum specs.
Yes, you have the alt as well.
Yeah, which the modding is atrociously worse comparatively to the main account. So I did the same setup, actually significantly less. I'm actually going to pull that up here. Because I was able to do some stuff with that setup.
See, now that's the part you lead with. You say, hey, I've also got the alt, and the alt's got shit mods and shit relics, and we're still running train. That's what you got to open with, man. Come on.
I was at R7. I had 80k health on Seer, 66k protection, 270 speed. But I'm still at 74% defense.
Okay. Wow. More defense than the other one.
Yeah. At R7. So I honestly think that it's just about stacking as much defense on her as you can, because outside of that, Force Barrier, they gain bonus protection for 2 turns, and they gain
that's all health based.
Yeah, which all health based, but she doesn't recover anything. Determined Assault doesn't do anything based off of that. The basic doesn't do anything based off of that. The leadership is all stats, so it doesn't really matter which one you focus on. The only thing in Seer's
kit that I saw that had protection was her unique that says she gains protection for each light side unaligned force user ally, of which she has none in that mission, unless she counts herself.
Well, the only way she would have one is if you used OG Cal, which no one's going to for that mission. But having Jedi Knight Cal, no, for
is it other or does it say other or each?
No, for each. So it does include herself.
Okay, so it would include herself. So she would at least get 20% protection.
No. Sorry, I take that back. For each other light side unaligned force user, so she doesn't include her.
Each other. Okay, so it does not include herself. Okay.
So so she's not gaining anything on that. I feel like
unless you're specifically worried about percentage health damage, there's no other reason to do that. I don't get it. Maybe there's some secret out there, but if you're doing better with the other modding, then I'm probably going to go with your way for next month, and we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, because I just don't understand it. Because outside of that, man, like the only recovery you're going to get is from. Thank you. The only recovery you're going to get is from Jedi Knight Cal on his Whirlwind Defense.
Man, I gotta like sit there. I gotta do that like probably tomorrow or something. Just like take a minute, have a coffee, have a whiskey, have a whatever, and just sit there and pour over these damn kits. Because I just got Jedi Knight Cal, I just got Leia, I got all these damn kits. These are paragraphs long. These are like Wikipedia articles long about their kits. Like it is absolutely insane how much there is in these things, and there's like so many little nuances and whatnot to their kits and how they interact and how they're like seeing with each other and with their enemies. And I feel like I should need to sit there and just like study them for a little bit, like I'm back in fucking school. I'm like studying the
Jedi Knight Cal. Jedi Knight Cal's kit is so extensive. Like it's almost as big as a GL's kit because of all the stuff that they have.
It's crazy because he has all the different stances.
Yeah, well, yeah. Every ability is its own like book on what it does because it has an effect if you use it for the first time or if you used it in back-to-back turns and just things like that. We're just like, okay, yeah, we can do that. But the shut up.
Oh, is there a cool puppy? Oh, you want some? Sorry. For anybody who cannot see this audio medium, Karth has his puppies coming and hanging out. So as
they're staring at
my whipping the puppies out.
Yeah,
you know it.
They're staring at my steak salad.
I'm pretty sure that's a breach of terms of service to get the puppies out on stream in front of a live audience.
Yeah, you jealous?
Yeah,
I jealous he missed it.
I am very
sure. That's exactly how that played out.
But yeah,
we were just talking more about the Cal stuff and how the more I keep looking at it, I don't understand the way they recommended
the modding
the
stuff.
guide.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping that that when it comes back in 2 weeks, we'll see a marked uptick in completion and success rates for that, because as we discussed before, that's really where the big value for us in TB is right now. It's more around completing the special missions and getting through to Zepho and getting the benefits from there, you know?
A marked uptick in completions. I approve.
Yes. We're going to put everybody on parole. You know, we're going to be like, I see you got a relicate Jedi Knight caliber Relic 7 Seer, and yet you failed your combat mission for Zepho. Would you mind discussing what happened to your run? Like, I just fucking went in an auto, and then we automatically boot them out the guild. No, I'm joking.
I mean, it's gonna be.
Auto,
I think,
you say?
Next time we're gonna plan on having some streaming services available.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense until we get the strategy down, until people know what they're doing, they could just go in and do it. Or until they just start throwing shitloads of Omicrons on Cal, then let's
try and do that.
No, me neither. I don't want to do
it. If it's looking, because that's the other thing. Like coming up for the raid, the Scout Omicron has not actually been announced yet, so we're still waiting to see what that actually does. But presumably,
we're still waiting for some information on that goddamn raid. Come on, man. Let's see what it is. I want to see some stuff.
I'm just saying that we also have that one coming out, so we presume that one will be useful for there. So that's another PVE based Omicron as opposed to a PvP based Omicron.
Yep.
I'm not sure what the breakdown is, but I'd be willing to bet that it's at least 80% of the Omicrons are going towards PvP rather than PVE. Who are playing TB versus GAC and TW. I can't imagine it's a very good distribution.
It's important. It's important. In my opinion, it's important. Not everybody likes GAC, but it's important to try and do your best in GAC, in my opinion, because it's a lot of crystals to be had. It's important. you get daily source of crystals, and in my opinion, it's a fun game mode. It's not fun for everybody, obviously, but Omicrons help you win GAC matches. Not one Omicron, but as long as you keep on investing in them, eventually you get good Omicrons, and that can help you win your matchups.
40 of them, that'll help you a lot.
Yeah, exactly. 40 of them really will.
Every single one of your teams with Omicrons, then you're good.
Yeah. I'm still waiting on that Ki-Adi-Mundi Omicron that lets his Jedi Council tag be active with Commander Bo-Katan in the team. And then, just throw him under JMK.
That would be so baller.
Wouldn't it?
I mean, Cam is kind of like an either or. Like, you can either use Cat or you can use Cam if you want to sprout Cat off somewhere else. Like, he does bring so much. If you have a pure Jedi team, he does bring a lot to that. To that squad, and he can really pump him up a good bit. So,
hell yeah!
It's not Cat level boost, and it's no insta kill. But if you're going full Jedi with a JMK, so you can bust off Cat and send her somewhere else, like with I don't know, you want to do something silly like do Cat with Rey or something like that, then that's up to you, dude. And that can absolutely be insanely scary sometimes.
Yeah, I remember the days of Rey Cat. Those were some interesting times.
The Rey Cat with the 75% increased damage on the ult.
Yeah, it's like try and kill Rey before she hits ult. Just try.
that was it. That was it. If you didn't do that, you lost. Cool.
With the stacking, with the Uvu targeting, with the stacking stat gains, like with Rey with Cat gets a little crazy again because she's gonna usually put the Sheen. Well, she'll target with Sheen, but she can't. Yeah, you need a Scoundrel ally. I think Scoundrel or GR to take that. Well, or GR because I know it works with targeting Kenobi. But you can put some stuff on the team together that kind of bleeds that over. And then you get just a ton of ramping stats, and just like, oh god.
Well, that's what people used to use back in the was it the Bamcron days? You could have like Rey, Cat, Bam. When Bam gained a bonus turn every time somebody took a turn, it was like, oh my god.
Is that Bam or was that Dash?
Dash? Sorry, Dash. Yeah,
Dash.
But I mean, you could do that as well, I suppose. Rey, Bam, Cat, Dash with Dashcron, and then just throw in some like Hoda.
Seriously, Bam on a Rey team and extra damage immunity and extra all that bullshit. Like, Bam is pretty solid over there. And Whistling Birds is true damage. With the extra offense over there, yes, please.
50% boost. Hell yeah, brother.
Like, yes, please. Those will actually do some serious damage. Like, Whistling Birds
kill something. Yeah.
Hey. Bam was my CLS counter for a while. If you got 20 birds on that dude, he would eliminate like 3 people on that team. It was great. Nice. Oh, it was amazing.
You just need to not die first.
Yeah, that was really the key. It was just survive. As long as you survived, you were okay.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing more frustrating than a Bam who's in his poop stance with 20 stacks of Whistling Birds and they like kill him before he takes his turn. You're like, I hate you. Or they stun him. Because for some reason he's not immune to stun when he's in poop stance. It's like, come on, man. He should be. Just make him immune to everything. Damage as well. He can't be hurt. That was a Datacron, wasn't it? At one point, was it? He couldn't be killed while he was in the Whistling Bird stance or something like that. Yep. I can't remember.
Yeah, he couldn't be killed in poop stance.
Yeah,
absolutely. I remember that one. That was was that one coupled with extra damage on birds? I'm trying to remember. There was a Bamcron a while ago.
I'm pretty certain there was a Bamcron that was pretty goddamn nutty. That would just like poop on things and everything would die.
People were like killing GLs with it. I remember it being like a crazy thing.
Yeah.
I forget. It was a while ago. Because there was that one. Oh yeah, it was okay. So you had a choice. Now I remember. You had a choice. It was either the crazy extra damage on birds. It was like 400%. I don't know what the hell the other number was. Or it was the cooldown reduction. Oh, remember? So Bam always had damage immunity available. So it was like the most reliable
Lord Vader. Yeah.
Exactly. Yep, exactly. That's what it was. Was for. it just made it so good because he was literally always had Fennec under DI. Like you were always safe. You were never at risk. It was a beautiful thing.
She's just never getting hurt in this matchup. He just like blip, 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 and that also gives her tenacity up, which boosts her offense, which is nice.
Yeah, and he would always have it because he gives the DI, and he gives it to himself as well. So he always has DI, and he always has DI available. People were two-manning Fennec and Bam versus Lord Vader. Like, that's how insane that shit was. So, yeah, I remember that. Now that jogged my memory, I had the cooldown reduction one. And I was
I'm pretty certain I did too. Yeah.
Yeah. I do wish I sort of would have had the birds one. People were having a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, I remember. I'm pretty certain. Was it Clash? I'm pretty certain Clash was doing some shit with that because he was all about the scoundrels.
A little bit, yeah. Was that before he left or when he came back?
It was
I don't know
before he left the first time.
Okay.
Because it was the BAM crown was pretty early into Datacron sets. I think it was like set 3 or 4 when it came out. Yeah. So that was pretty early into the process.
Because I remember he was here for the while, then he left for a little bit, came back, and then he left again. I'm losing track of the timeline on this stuff. Clash, I mean, no offense, I love you. It's just I am literally losing track of who is coming and who is going in this game, and who has quit recently and who is not. That's not commentary about you. That's commentary about the game.
Word on the street. Word on the street is that Cubs is about to quit. I mean, I'm as surprised as you are, guys.
Whoa.
Yeah.
When did Cubs start playing
third time's a charm.
Wait, okay, no joke. When did Cubs start playing again?
He didn't. He didn't. I'm just talking shit.
Yeah, he came back. Oh my god.
Yeah, no, I'm just talking shit. Yeah, I doubt we'll ever see Cubs come back.
Oh, you totally got me. I fucking believed you. Holy shit.
Nailed it.
Oh, jeez.
Hats off to Cubs, whatever he's doing these days. You know, well, I'm assuming he's still doing his is it psychiatry or he was doing something like that?
I believe he was a therapist. Yeah.
Therapist. Apologies. Yeah. Pretty soon he's probably still doing that, right? Because I know he hasn't. I don't think he's been doing much. I think I saw him tweet about him starting up a podcast about coming out of organized religion or something like that. He had a term for it, like deconstructing like religious upbringings and stuff like that. So I don't know if he went ahead with it. I think he was putting out feelers on Twitter for it. So, you know, he's obviously still thinking about some form of content creation, I guess, but just in whole different circles. Hats off to him, you know.
Very
wish him all the best.
Form, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, more power to him. For sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's definitely an area that I think will resonate in a lot of sense.
The puppers. Look at the puppers. Is that a Mrs. Karth over there, Karth?
It is a Mrs. Karth. She came home for lunch.
A Mrs. Karth's foot and legs.
Angling.
Yes. You may only see her feet. You dare not deign look into her eyes.
No. I'm low-key promoting her OnlyFans foot picture profile.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think those only work when the shoes are off, though, Karth. Yeah.
Hey, everyone's got a kink, man. Okay.
Whoa.
Some people are shoes on foot fetishes. Okay.
Hell yeah.
You got to leave it a little bit for the imagination. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. What were we talking about?
We were talking about something, I'm sure. I'm positive it was related to Galaxy of Heroes. People quitting.
Oh, yeah.
I made some jokes about Cubs.
Yeah, you got me.
Not personal jokes, obviously.
Yeah, you got me. Yeah, I'm legitimately losing track of who's coming, who's going, who's everything. I miss so many fucking people who've left.
But, hell yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the crazy thing, you know?
Man, there's still a lot of things to be excited about in the game. There's still a lot of like good things coming forward. There's a lot of like things to look forward to and everything. But I can understand the frustration, the stress, the everything stacking up and just being one thing too many. Like, all right.
Well, I mean, APGAINS put out a video earlier this week, I think, around why people quit this kind of content creation, right? And I agreed with a lot of what he was talking about there, because he was talking about
sorry, go on.
Sort of like, there's a lot of people see YouTube as a means of making money, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? But for a game like Galaxy of Heroes, the vast majority of content creators make fuck all money, right? We're talking, you can't live off this. I know that sounds really aggrandizing, to live off the money of YouTube, but I mean so much as you can't afford to pay rent, you can't pay for your electricity bill kind of money. There are people that make a decent money off Twitch streaming and get gifted subs and get direct donations, and some people make really good fucking money out of doing that. But that's like a handful of people that do content creation for Galaxy of Heroes. Very small amount of people. The only person who realistically makes money out of YouTube videos, and by makes money I mean makes a living out of YouTube videos, is Arnold. Like, nobody else who does Galaxy of Heroes makes enough money off YouTube videos to pay for rent.
Oh yeah,
not even like rent, a fraction of the
living. pay for not just rent, pay for a living, pay for student loans, pay for whatever the hell life that you need to like actually get taken care of. It is definitely not something you get into if you want to be a freaking millionaire off of
no, exactly.
Exactly. Not that thing.
Not a big enough following for that.
No,
that's
what
I was saying. No. I can understand a good amount of what he was saying. If you are going into this and thinking you're going to be like the next Arnold because you're getting into Swigo streaming, then I can understand people quitting streaming Swigo or streaming something different. Going to a different game which is more popular or has a bigger following.
For sure,
they can get more video views and whatnot off of that. Then if that's what you're going for, that is your goal to make this your business and your living and everything. Absolutely, can understand people switching off of that. If you just play Galaxy of Heroes, because like myself, I just played Galaxy of Heroes and then was bullied into streaming, and I'm just doing this like for shits and giggles. I'm not trying to make a living off of this. I would never be able to replace my full-time job like living just off of Twitch donations. That is just physically not possible. So for me, I'm not going to quit because I'm not making $1 million off of the thing. So I mean, something like that, I get where APGAINS is coming from if you are trying to make this like your full-time. But if you're more doing this for fun and again, I'm not going to say that I get nothing. I fucking am humbled when anybody is willing to donate and everything off of anything. But let's just like being realistic over here. Like you said, it's Arnold or nothing.
Yeah, as far as YouTube videos are concerned, certainly. There are definitely some Twitch streamers that can go full-time with just Twitch streaming, and they do Galaxy of Heroes content. But it's so unlikely to be that guy. Do you know what I mean? So unlikely. Don't count on it. So don't get pissed off when some of your content creators leave. And it's not that they don't enjoy the game. Well, maybe some of them don't. Truth be told, maybe some people actually don't enjoy the game and just see it as a paycheck. But like most people are not going to make it, and it costs a lot. Not monetarily speaking, not monetarily speaking. It costs a lot of time, energy, effort, sacrifice to stream every single day. Like I said, Wolfie, you've got a full-time job. I've got a full-time job. Karth is just crazy, and he's Karth. He does apparently work sometimes.
I have a lot of flexibility in my job because I run the company. So if I want to take some time to do something else, I can. Not everyone has that luxury, so that's just a different can of worms.
Karth has got so much flexibility, he can touch his toes with his tongue.
I can. Whoa, no, not that one. Not that one. I'm not that flexible. I gotta be bending knee joints backwards pretty hardcore.
Like a horse.
Something else is like a horse, but not my knees.
Not my knees. It's definitely my hair. I have the mane of a horse.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what you were going for, I'm sure.
All in the pubic region too. Nowhere else.
Oh yes.
And now I'm just trying to picture a horse with pubes.
Just a mane hanging down there. That's what's going on.
Fucking lion's mane down there.
Oh my god!
I got dreadlocks down there.
And braid it, yeah.
Braid it.
Get some Viking beads in there as well.
Careful,
decorate
careful
it.
pulling on that ponytail. You're gonna whack your ass.
Ooh, dear me. Jesus Christ. So, this stream is something.
This
Swoga,
right? Yeah. So, yeah.
So this Galaxy of Heroes stream. Hey, Paparoos.
Wayne, are you gonna talk shit back there or what?
They're like, we don't know ways to talk about it either. I don't know what you want from us.
He's lying, guys.
He's trying to find the food because he gets like really petty about me eating without sharing, which I share with him anyways. But if the food dish is still in the vicinity of the room, he continues to think that he's gonna get something. So he'll sit back there and talk shit like I'm ignoring him and not giving him anything that he wants. And I was like, so actually that's why I passed the bowl over to my wife, because I'm like, if he just gets out of here, then he'll know that there's nothing left to go after and he'll shut up and leave me alone. But
is he just in the background going...
He came over to the side of my chair over here where I put the bowl the first time and did a little sniff to make sure that it wasn't there anymore, because he couldn't quite see it from the downside of the table. So
it's hard life being a dog.
Yeah, he was making sure. Well, yeah, my dogs live a very luxurious life. They eat quite well. They are pampered, spoiled. We went and did our coffee trip run this morning. We took them out to coffee. Oh. They got treats from the baristas.
We took Milo to the coffee shop too today. Yeah, there's a place called Coffee Lab, which is obviously a dog friendly coffee house, and we always take Milo there.
That's not obvious.
Yeah.
Coffee Lab could be like a scientific coffee place.
Oh, yeah, but if you see the logo, it's like a big fucking Labrador. So, I mean,
well, then that's obvious. Well, okay.
Okay, maybe it is fucking obvious, Scribble.
All right.
But if you don't give me all the context, then obviously I'm going to be in the dark. It could have been a scientific coffee lab. You fuck. God damn it, you limey bastard.
There are some people who take their coffee incredibly seriously.
Yes.
And to be honest,
that's why I'm saying people get scientific about that shit. They're like, oh, you must have the pour over at precisely this temperature, and you must wet the beans for this specific amount of time, allow them to aerate and fully encompass in there, and then you will encompass your pour over, but go from the center and work your way slowly. People get intense about this stuff.
Speaking as a former barista, yeah. You want an extraction time between 17 and 22 seconds. The crema should be nice and thick and golden, and it should take 3 seconds for sugar to sink through the crema. Otherwise, you fucked your espresso, good sir. Did you get the grind right? The temp right? I used to have to go through all of that shit.
There are competitions for this shit.
Yeah, latte art competitions.
It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. And
people get way scientific about this shit.
Ground beans in a filter, press button, done. Coffee brewing.
Drink coffee, go take shit.
I appreciate good coffee, but I am not about to put more effort into making it than I get out of it. So,
well, I mean, it's one thing to have a coffee in the house. It's another thing going out to a coffee shop. I'm a little bit snobby when I go to a coffee shop, because I won't go to a fucking Starbucks or a Costa or something like that. I'll find a nice coffee place that actually does good coffee, and I'll be like, that's nice. I traveled back from London a couple of weeks back for work, and there was a Starbucks inside Victoria train station, and I stopped there and I had a coffee, a cappuccino, and it was the worst fucking coffee I've had in my fucking life. I was like, this isn't a cappuccino. What the fuck is this? It's just a cup of hot milk. Couldn't even taste the coffee. There was no foam. I was like, what the fuck is this? Starbucks is supposed to be a fucking coffee brand. Jesus Christ.
So you need to ask for an extra shot of espresso in there just to be able to taste anything at sometimes.
Could you make it actual coffee, please?
Starbucks has been pretty big about downsizing the amount of coffee they actually serve and increasing the sugar that's in each drink by putting in more flavor. Because that's what people want most of the time, is they go there for the foofy drinks and they want, I want to taste my caramel macchiato. It's like, do you just want to suck on a freaking bottle of caramel? Because that's going to be the equivalent. of what you're getting here, and then take a shot of espresso at the end of it to wash it down. Like, that's what's happening. But you're just like, nah, but I'm getting my coffee. No, you're getting about 200 grams
you're getting
of
diabetes.
Yeah.
No, I don't do that. My coffee is coffee. I don't have hazelnut or fucking none of that shit. I want coffee.
Fanciest coffee black with no sugar.
The fanciest I get
like coffee.
The fanciest I get is a vanilla latte.
Yeah.
But that's like once or twice a week. Usually I just brew black coffee, or if I go to the coffee shop, I'll just get a dripper or an Americano.
See, don't get me wrong. Like I worked in Italy for a little bit. I love me a good cappuccino. I love me a good macchiato. You know, I'm all about that. All about that life for sure. But for the most part, just a good black coffee. As long as it's like fresh and ground fresh and made right, then that's.
As long as it's not a generic, large brand coffee. Most coffees are going to be good black, but there are some like you'll never convince me to drink Folgers. Like I would rather just go without.
I'll default to like Pete's. I'll default to Pete's. That's always like a good go-to if I can't find anything else. There's a brewer, not a brewer. There's a roaster around me that has like roast their own beans. They come to the like farmers markets and shit around here, so I always get coffee from them. Always a good treat. So. Not ridiculously expensive, but grinded up fresh, and that's always a good thing.
Yeah, it's got to be ground fresh if you're having beans, because after a couple of days that shit gets real stale. But hey, so on this Galaxy of Heroes podcast, I'm sure they've got coffee in Star Wars somewhere, right?
They do. There you go. Andor established that. They called it calf.
Okay, yeah.
Remember?
Calf. No, I haven't watched Andor.
Ryan, first off, get Afra, and then watch Andor, and then step 3 is reverse that order because Andor is more important than Afra. So watch Andor.
Watch Andor. Whilst you're unlocking Afra, watch Andor.
Oh, god damn it! It's so good.
Please. But I mean,
it's so good.
I
just take a week off. Just
so desperately want Luthen in the game, so bad.
Oh my god! Please.
Him and his ship,
Luthen and the Fondor. Yes.
Yeah.
Sounds like a kids' TV show.
Luthen and the Fondor.
Luthen and the Fondor. Today we're going to the forest.
Luthen and Fondor.
What's these mushrooms, Luthen? I don't know, Fondor. Maybe you should try some.
Oh God!
Luthen, these make me feel funny. I don't know, Luthen. I probably shouldn't have eaten these.
Why are you unhooking your belt? No, God, we took a dark turn. Oh God, I'm so getting cancelled. It's a joke, guys. It's a joke. All right, fine.
You're been Turkish Bethos.
So you were talking about Luthen and the Fondor from Andor, right?
Luthen and his ship, the Fondor from Andor.
Oh, it's a ship. Okay, great. That's. I'm glad he was inside a ship.
I mean, in his defense, though, it's a similar ship to kind of like Lando has when they integrate L3 with the ship's navicomputer. Because he has an AI on the ship that's like its own personality. Would you stop?
No, I won't stop.
Look at this idiot. He is just straight up just assuming that I've got steak on this desk, and
obviously
I'm going to give him some.
He wants some food, Garth.
He can smell it, and it's for him.
I don't have it in the room anymore.
But he's can like,
smell
Dad,
it. Please, just feed me.
Like, no. The smell is here, so it's still here. I know it's still here because I can smell it.
Gee, he's licking his
lips.
He's
looking
at
me. He knows. He looks directly at the camera. He knows.
He knows.
The last one's hanging out with Mom. She is a mama's girl.
Aww.
You have 3 puppies?
I have 3 dogs. Yes.
That's awesome.
Well, that's a lot of canines.
Wayne's my old man. He's about 13 years old.
Oh.
And then Winston's the youngest at like 4. And then Harley is the middle child, and she's like 6 years older. 6 years old.
Okay. Nice.
I like it.
Very
Good
nice.
pupperoos. Yeah.
You get along?
For the most part. The old man gets a little crotchety when everyone tries to
well, naturally.
Tries to play with him. He's not a huge proponent of wrestling anymore, mostly because the other dogs just like Winston's a huge fatty compared to him.
Yeah.
Well, you said the old man gets all crotchety, and it's like, yeah, that makes sense.
That's it. Yeah. That tracks. That tracks. I'm not yet that old, but I feel I get crotchety too. So
yeah. Well, so Winston, the gray dog I've got, he's 95 pounds, and Wayne is about 75. So
Winston's a big boy.
Yeah, he's a fatty. And
just
the
like
best part is
a chonka.
The best part of Winston is that when he's playing, he has no problem jumping from the floor to my bed. But at night, he apparently becomes immediately incapable of doing so.
He's like, "Daddy, carry me."
Exactly.
Carry me to bed.
He's heavy. 100-pound deadlift squat. It's just like, come on, get
your exercise in.
Yeah.
Don't you do enough of that at the construction yard, Kath? I mean, come on.
I mean, I could probably do more. Let's be honest.
I could just pay one of your guys to come around and pick him up and put him on the bed. Like, excuse me, I need you to come into work for about 20 seconds. Yeah, just lift my dog up onto the bed, please.
At my house.
Yeah, exactly. Just come around while you're in bed with your wife. Like, thanks. Lock the door on your way out.
Just install a winch and a track. So just like winch the dog up and then track it over and then
winch Winston,
and you're good.
Install a ramp and I would be done, or a bench he could hop up on.
Well, yeah, that's simpler, but winch is more fun.
I mean,
you could do other stuff with the winch afterwards. I mean,
exactly. It has dual purposes.
Listen, the setup I have right now isn't close enough to the bed.
Fair enough. You just have to make him a little staircase instead. A little staircase going up to the bed.
Mm-hmm.
Jobs are good. So, Andor and whatever the hell the ship's called.
Capra. Oh,
Andor and the Fondor.
Luthen.
Luthen and the Fondor. Fondor needs to come in. It's a badass ship. I'm not spoiling anything for you because you need to watch the damn show. It's an awesome
I need a week off. I need a week off work so I can watch the damn show.
Hey,
that's the only way it's happening, realistically.
Around Christmas, right?
Yeah, but that's Christmas time.
There you go.
You need something to do with the wife in the afternoons, evenings, whatever.
You think Mrs. Scribble is going to sit down and watch Andor? Out of all the Star Wars content in the universe, you think she'll watch Andor?
Yes.
Okay.
Does she like
thrillers? Does she like spy thrillers?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, Jinx.
Is it a rom-com?
It could be.
No.
Depends how much wine. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. It's a pretty awesome spy thriller.
Cool.
I'm
sure. No, she's not like she doesn't dislike spy thrillers. It's just not a first choice for her. That's all. We've watched a couple.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe.
She needs more half naked men in her content. That she likes.
I do. Yeah. Wait, what? No.
I said her, not you, but all right, here we are. It needs more Henry Cavill. That's what it needs.
Probably. I mean, she did watch The Witcher, so there is that. I mean, The Witcher is now finished. It's done. There's no more seasons of that, so we can't watch that anymore.
The funny part is, I think that's 100% true. I don't think they're doing season 4 anymore.
Have they actually canned it? That's quite funny.
I know the writer's strike paused the whole thing, but I don't know if they restarted it after the strike finished.
Yeah.
Which enough. I don't care either way. Like it's
no, neither do I. It's destined to be a TV show that never gets a satisfactory conclusion to me. So
it happens.
It happens far too frequently. You know?
It does.
It's what happens when you want people to take a spin on like well-established lore and story. Mm-hmm. It's like, why? Like, we don't need to have a shattered timeline
No, not really.
Series. It's just like, oh, well, if The Witcher was more like this, then these events would have happened. And it's just like, how about you just take the same lore and you just create a different story that's about a different Witcher, not Geralt? No, you want brand recognition? Okay.
Well, to be fair, I mean, like, how many times did like comic books and shit do that with the this many stories of the same of the same superhero of the same over there that are getting rewritten and redone this and am I completely off base here or?
No, but the comics have a little bit different framework because, of course, the multiverse was the explanation for all that. So it's
exactly. It wasn't a way to explain it.
Yeah, it wasn't just this was the one Spider-Man. This was one of many Spider-Men in different worlds and different timelines that these events took place in, and so that you could have a what you wanted to be the main narrative, and then have these fractured results that change. But The Witcher is not set up for that.
Thing.
Yeah, but it's
that's effectively the same thing.
Sure, but the lore for The Witcher isn't set up for that kind of stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I'm
and
not
it's just one of those things. Like,
but
I think genuinely people just wanted to watch Henry Cavill be a badass Witcher, and then they just systematically tried to just downplay his importance in the series.
I honestly think people wanted to watch The Witcher 3 live action, like the story of The Witcher 3, but live action. And then it's just like, no, we want to deal with things that don't really matter as much to the fan base. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like they had some good moments in the first couple seasons,
definitely did.
But like the first season's so janky with the timelines because you're just jumping all over the road. I'm like, it'd be really cool if things were consistent.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the fight choreography was good. And Henry Cavill was like really good in emulating the combat style of Geralt. When it was on screen, you watch it and it's like, hey, he actually looks and moves like Geralt. That's a good job, guys. Good job. So that was nice.
Yeah, that's they did try to do a Witcher spinoff and it bombed terribly because it's like they just did. They focused nothing on the actual, like lore and history of what was going on there, and they wanted to make their own,
Mm-hmm. I think for a spin-off to be successful, you have to be successful in your main line first. Like, make that have a cult following to begin with that already likes your content, your show. Then maybe think about doing a spin-off. When people are already bitching about your show, you don't try and go, hey, let's do a spin-off. Guys, it's like me trying to create another fucking YouTube channel on, I don't know, learning how to crochet or something. And like, I've barely got a following for Star Wars. Who's going to follow me for crocheting? Just not going to work.
I would laugh so hard if that was so much more successful.
Guys, I'm quitting Swigert to take up professional crocheting. I've never knitted
you would
in my
probably
life.
at least have a few grandmas that would watch you. Just do it in like a mesh see-through top.
Yeah, well, obviously.
Yeah.
I could knit myself a wig.
You need to have the camera.
Just knit yourself suspenders and wear nothing but the knit suspenders, and that's it.
You need the camera be right at like crotch level.
Crocheting with my crotch.
Just looking right into it. So like you're crocheting and what you need is to crochet some lederhosen. So you got the suspenders with the short shorts. Yeah. And that way when you're crocheting you can you can have you can wear loose clothing underneath and give the ladies a little sneak peek here every once in a while.
Scribble crotching, scrotching.
It'd be
goddamn.
It would be equivalent of a nip slip, but just something related to
the
royal tackle. Yeah.
A Nad slip. Yeah. I mean, we're breaking new ground here, guys. We're already finding niches in the market.
Why are we not millionaires yet? I don't understand.
Well, exactly. I think we need to. I think we need to do a trial run of this. First, I just need to learn how to knit, I guess.
Shit. Think about that part.
That sounds like it could take a while for me to pick up the necessary skills. Maybe I should just go in a bit blind, and it's like Scribble learns to crochet with his crotch, and we just see what I come out with, and it'll probably just be like this wonky piece of string because I'm decidedly undexterous.
With your crotch.
Yeah, with my crotch, obviously.
Obviously, yes.
Only yarns. Yes. I love it. Only yarns. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
On this Swigo podcast.
Yeah, I think we've talked fuck all about Swiggo today, but we did touch on TB for a bit.
25%. Maybe
25%. I mean, that's okay. I'm sure people will continue to listen to this maybe. Okay, let's do a test. We need something to ask the listeners at home to see if they've made it this far. What are we going to ask?
Oh, did we get any viewer questions? We were talking about asking for viewer questions. We need to make an actual
I didn't
somewhere.
I didn't actually set that up. I need to. I'm not very organized, guys.
What we should do is we should ask people for viewer questions, and we'll bring them up in the next podcast.
Well, that was
what
the
we
idea.
did last time.
I know, but we didn't ask for. Did we ask for that in the podcast?
Yeah, guys, send in your viewer questions. You can even get it recorded and send it, and we'll listen to it live on the stream.
You can either leave it as a comment. You can either leave it as a comment on YouTube, or you can join Scribe's Discord and leave there. I think there's a channel for it, isn't there?
There is.
There is. I think there already is.
I think there is, but if not, I have a wonderful mod team. Night Fox, do something. Yeah, they're really good. I don't have to prompt them at all.
He's already already on it. Yeah, it's already there.
Thank you, Foxy.
I knew it.
Love you, buddy.
Been there for ages.
It's been there. It's been there the whole time, guys. Fuck.
It's
Post some questions.
Throw in some questions if there's things that people want to know specifically. If there's things that you want to know about certain aspects of the game, certain characters, certain modding, certain events.
If it's for specific people, like you could ask, "Hey, Karth, how do you earn so much money?" Totally, you can do that. Yeah. You can do that, but also, it doesn't have to be Galaxy of Heroes related. We will be your agony aunts, all right? To a degree. I'm not going to help you out with your STDs, guys. Okay, that's not going to happen. Go to the clinic.
That's as much as I'm going to help you out.
Yeah, absolutely. Crochet questions are completely on.
Between the Welshman, the Whale, and the Wolf, we can figure it out. All right.
I mean, with this many W's, how can you fail? Oh, that's a tagline.
Bro. I love it. I love it.
I need to commission somebody to do the intro for the Tribe Talks to be that. You know, your host, the Welshman, the Whale, and the Wolf, with this many W's, how can you fail? And then plays the intro music. Boom, there we go. And we won't even have to talk. We could just end the stream there, and I think everybody would be satisfied.
Yeah. We no longer need to listen for 2 hours. Fucking beautiful. Great.
Yeah. Zephyr says, "Hey, Dr. Z, how you doing, brother? He learned to crochet when he was 8. Thankfully, after 52 years, he's forgotten. That's a special moment." But guys, send in your questions, and we can discuss them live on the Tribe, and you can listen to them back afterwards. If you want to send in recorded voice messages, I'll find some service that'll host it. But yeah, it'll be a good time for everybody involved. Anything you guys want to bring up right at the end here? We've hit our 2-hour mark for the stream / podcast.
Well, we have a couple quick questions in the chat we could just briefly
summarize
into. Yeah.
See, it's working already.
The first one is they're addressing the GAC squishing. Do we think they'll focus more on PvP content next year, and how would we like to see them redo TW/GAC?
Ooh. Wolfie, do you want to take a stab first?
Mr. I mean over here is like ready to answer, but I guess I can take a stab. Put me on the spot over here, Mr. Scribbly Bibbly Gaming.
Well, I'm just doing that so I can think of an answer.
I guess I'll cut him off over here. What was the question again?
All right.
Yeah. How do we? Okay, so PvP focus, heavy just TV, TWGAC. So honestly, this is something that this sounds like a bit of a cop out, but I kind of want to hear Carth's answer on this, because for GAC adjustment, we're talking about the Kyber 1 distribution, we're talking about the Kyber distribution and everything. But where I'm at and where I'm, Scribe, we're sort of around the same range over here. Top of Kyber 2, bottom of Kyber 1, sort of like running around the same sort of area. I'm 11.4 million at this point. And by the end of my GACs, I normally have teams left over. I don't normally have fleets left over, but I normally have teams left over where I can like do some serious stuff. I'm wondering if they eventually go with a league above Kyber and have the top like 200, top 500, whatever, and just those guys are the upper echelon, top of the top, best of the best, whatever sort of
Beskar League.
And they and they get more defenses, more offenses, more whatever. That could be interesting just for like the upper end. For overall though, I would actually be kind of interested if they sort of stole a little bit from Marvel Strike Force and had like each zone like do different things, like have a benefit for the zones, for certain teams, for certain abilities, for certain stuff, and have certain things like work better over here and have like a little extra depth to the strategy.
Datacrons for specific nodes, ready
like
go.
Change the, but like not just that. It's not just that, because it's not something that you have to farm. It's something that's always there for everybody.
Oh yeah.
Everybody, and it's just always there. Just something to mix it up a little bit, just to add a little bit of a nuance, a little bit of change, a little bit of a way to change your strategy, and just mix it up a little bit. Just shake up the board, which has been exactly the same for the like however long GAC has been active. Like just some way to mix things up a little bit, so it's not just the same tired GAC over and over and over again. So TW, I mean, similar the same way. It was really, really cheesy when they had those like 5 Hans on deck or all Hans on deck. Sorry, all the Chewies teams, all this, that sort of stuff. But if they were to mix up the board a little bit, for TW specifically, 50 teams is grueling to get through. Cut the teams in half, more zones, mix it up more that way, so it's not as much of a bitch and a half to get through, and I'm on board. Something just to allow you to change the strategy so it's not just the same tired BS over and over and over again. So, Karth, take it away. Tell me
take it away, Karth.
Wrong? No, you're not wrong. When it specifically with GAC, I think that's the best answer you can come up with right now with GAC is pushing into a brand new league. I don't see adding more things to Kyber being beneficial, because if you do it to Kyber across the board, I feel like it will drastically punish players on the low end of the Kyber leagues, and it just adds a ton of time to the event already. Because honestly, the only way you're going to make Kyber, more competitive and more interesting for the higher end players that have everything is increasing the number of battles you have to do, which means if you needed to do 15 battles in 5v5 and 4 battles for fleet in Kyber, that's the only way to make it more interesting, because now you need 30 teams for the ground game and you need 8 fleets. So it's going to be a bit more, strategy, and you can't power condense your best teams to make these, ungodly,
a lot more time consuming too.
Yeah, well, you're going to spend another, half hour with, if you had 4 teams in a fleet, you're going to spend another half hour doing your GACs, which some people just don't want to do. So it's like the only way that makes sense for me is to push it into a Kyber or a Beskar tier, where it's players who qualify for it know what they're getting into. If you don't want to do it, you just fall back to Kyber 1, you're fine. As long as that the Beskar League, that is what we would assume we would probably call it, that is only an improvement on rewards. I don't want them to redistribute their
that would be an awful take.
Push it up there. They should just be in excess of that and reward players who, honest to God, are the group of people, for the most part, keeping the lights on, because a lot of the people at the top are spending a decent chunk of change to stay there because they have to. Datacrons are going to force that hand. If you want to have, upwards of 25 to 30 Datacrons in each set, you're going to need a lot of
25 to 30 for those at home at level 9, he means, not just in general. Maxed out clones.
Not just you can have Datacrons free to play, but you could, in order to have like the optimal, say not just maxed out level 9, re-rolled for the good stats and the right abilities and the everything, like it just compounds.
That's a big ass grind.
It gets up there, and so that's going to be the only. I mean, it would be fine if they did something like that. I wouldn't mind doing more. I definitely would probably heavily consider a second account going bye-bye if they did that. But I mean, that's fine. I don't mind it because I like tactics when it comes to playing GAC. I like the mental games that you play with. What am I putting on defense? What's gonna, do I, especially with the more research you put into it, because you can tell what your opponents typically place on defense, what they typically use to counter, and you can build a strategy around that. But where we're at right now in GAC is that you have so much left over that it doesn't really matter what you put on defense or what you save for offense, because you have so many teams to keep powering through.
Thinking about how at the top end, at least, a lot of the players have got so much left over. What about if they introduced to GAC something similar to operations, right? So when you set your defense, you can also set X number of Relic 5 minimum characters. If you hit 10 platooned units, this zone gains this bonus to the team set here. Let's say it's, flat offense speed or defense or whatever.
Yeah. It would have,
and then obviously you can't use them in either defense or offense.
Well, yeah, but it would have to be pre-described platoons, and they'd have to be across the board equal for everybody involved. Of course,
because
if I just had to throw down 10 R7 characters, you still wouldn't
some random shit you don't care about.
You wouldn't touch my top 80 still. My
TIE fighter pilot, sure, take him. Yeah. Oh, great, cool.
Yeah, throw him in our
Tico, finally useful.
Yay! He's useful with Zori. Come on. But yeah, I'm with you. It's one of those things though, where it's like they could do something like ops, which would be interesting. That's like you power your own bonuses by having that. But I think the problem is that if the bonuses aren't good enough to be substantially worth it, then why not just keep my best stuff for offense? You sacrifice it, you lose it, and I just go full offense and roll your face and pray that Leia still causes you a problem, right? That it would be up to CG to try and find that balance, right? I'm just putting it out as a theoretical. If they were to do anything, I think the static bonuses, like Wolf was saying, would be the better route to go, where they just every 2 seasons they change the bonuses in the 3 ground zones.
I'd be okay
and
with
you get different factions, you get different or just flat bonuses.
That's what I'm saying is the operation approach addresses the I've got too much shit left over, whilst also addressing you don't have to add additional teams continually to GAC to increase the number of battles we need to do. It's just a case of, I can actually platoon this and I'll get the following bonuses to my defensive teams, for example.
Yeah, my only thing with the requiring characters is just that it's gonna heavily favor the more expanded accounts, and so it's if it's not just a 7-star,
absolutely,
if it's like a relic lockout like they have with the DB,
I'm sure CG loves that.
I win more because I wailed more, and I don't love that mentality. I like
neither do I.
Where GAC is right now, where you have players that are not big spenders inside the top 10 of the game, and they stay there consistently. And I'm okay with that. I don't want CG to ever put a mechanic in that just basically goes, well, if you don't have a 13 million GP account and have all your characters at R7 plus, then you're going to lose because you can't activate these platoon bonuses we threw into GAC. And it's like
that's sort of what it feels like it's going to happen with it. Yeah, if they make specific characters or whatever, if they make it specific characters, it may be even worse because I don't like them telling you can't use these specific characters. Like that's
why it went so poorly when they tried it prior to the new GAC launch.
Right?
When they did the bans, like a lot of people hated it because.
Thanks for farming Malik. You can't use him.
No Jedi Knight Revan, anybody. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. I mean, and I get the mentality behind it, right? Everybody's handicapped for the same thing, but it's like for a lot of people, especially when they did that you were handicapping most accounts' best team.
Yes.
By removing like Revan or Malik from being usable, and so it's like I don't have the depth to just go, oh, we'll just do Basti Lead Jedi instead, and then we'll we'll take CLS and do something different. It's like not everyone had the depth for that option, and so it's just like it got really punishing to players, and that's what I think would happen if you did kind of the ops things is that you would get beyond like Kyber 2 and then everyone starts getting punished because God forbid they didn't take Cup to relics.
Cup should be level 69. Just saying. That's where he belongs. Just leave him there. Just leave him there.
Yep. Unless he's a relic 9 goal.
Oh well, obviously.
In which case, yes.
The other side of the coin is just going to be when it comes to TW. With TW, honestly, I think the best way for them to look at it is what Wolfie said. We need to reduce the number of characters per zone, but increase the number of zones by the same amount.
So
like I don't mind the number of battles we have to do in TW. What I mind is having to wait 7 to 8 hours for everyone in 14 different time zones to be able to show up and use a counter. Especially when you're fighting harder guilds that are much more organized and much more structured on what you have to do. It's much more challenging to sit there and go, okay, well now we got to wait for this and wait for that and we got to wait for this counter to be used up. Otherwise, if we blow this early, we may not have something for the next wall and things like that. So it's like I would prefer something like that, but I'd also like it if CG found a way to make it modular so that we could move the defenses around and hide things in different locations. Like I would love to be able to move a fleet zone to the front because I think that's a lot more interesting of a way for somebody to put one in the front, one in the back. Who cares? You can, but being able to change some of that, being able to change, like the board up to like an hourglass, design where you have a chokehold point in the middle where they have to clear that to get to the whole next wall. So the trade-off is that they have to beat one zone to get to the back, but there's 3 zones behind it that are open. So it's like if they clear it, then they've got way more things to deal with. That you could be beneficial for them to clear out, but if you can stonewall them there and it takes them a long time, it gives you a strategy. I just think right now with TW, there's just not enough strategy going on. It's a very, we throw down the same 4 GLs and then everyone uses the same 4 GLs and then after that you have 4 zones of like basically, well, we use gas, we use Malgus, we use our S tier or our A tier teams, and then we clean the rest of the board up, and that's it. And so
it's a bit better efficiency, and
So for me, I would be a much bigger proponent of having stuff that that makes it a little bit more interesting from a tactics, where the board's not the same for both sides. You can change it. You can shuffle things around to make things more interesting for that. And then the other thing when it comes to TW, from the matchmaking perspective, I think CG needs to heavily look at doing the matchmaking by average GP when it comes to TW.
Average signed up GP.
Well, yeah, that too. Mm-hmm. But I think that would make more and more TWs more consistent because when you have guilds at like barely hitting 380, with 40, you know, like with like 45 signups, fighting guilds at like, you know, 560 million. It's like our average GP is like 11 million to your like 9. Like, and to be honest, that between a 9 million GP count and an 11 million GP count, the spread on what those characters, those rosters have available is just massive. And so I think that would be a better way to make it more consistent for players, is to have that be the key part of the matchmaking. But
I mean, those 7 million accounts, those 7 millions probably don't even have Afra. Like,
yeah.
I mean,
oh, fuck off.
Slacking.
You guys suck.
Probably some of those 10 millions don't even have Leia. You know, they're just.
They even have Leia. Dear God, oh man.
Yeah. You guys are just bullies. You're just so mean to me. Nobody likes me.
But that, in short, I think that's kind of the direction that would be useful to head. But it's hard to say because it just seems like there's no real, unless the incentive structure for TW changes, I can't see a reason for them to even change how it works, right? Because it's just, who cares?
Most guilds like some reroll mats for your level 9.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing about it, because you need Relic 9 so infrequently for the average player.
Yeah, for the average player.
You know, you're gonna get enough in between.
Scraps like for the average player.
You know,
for the average nerd, yeah, loser.
You know, so if your guild's hitting a 50% win rate at the what is that tier? The 380 million tier. That means, you know, every month you're gonna walk away with 12 droid brains. So like basically every 2 months you can get an R9 or enough mats for the droid brains at least. And that's going to be all you need. You don't need to push it harder than that. And that's, so I don't know if there's a huge incentive to change anything.
I mean, you know, the easiest incentive is Relic 10 mats go into TW. Then everybody will fucking do it. So it doesn't solve the problem of TW.
Good talk. Relic 10, sorry.
Yeah. The editor's going to cut out that last sentence.
I don't see Relic 10 coming anytime soon either, though. Like, CG has such a hard time with the Relic 9 buy-in. I can't imagine R10 being... I mean, R10 would have to move the needle in a direction that's so massive that it's like you're going to just be so far behind because you need just to get there. But the thing of it is that if they do R10, R9 needs to be like way more accessible. Like, we need to be able to farm nodes straight for impulse detectors and Gerda keypads. Like, otherwise it's just asinine. There's just no way it makes sense to keep that up, because it's so expensive to go from, you know, R7 to R9, and most characters get next to no benefit. I mean, the only attackers that get benefits are ones that utilize stats like health and protection, like Luke and Gas. The only other attackers that gain a decent bonus are special damage dealers. They gain at least a decent bump going from R8 to R9, but all physical damage dealers kind of don't do anything useful. You know, it's like it's like 300 points damage. You might pick up another 150 on top of that with if you're running an offense set with, you know, offense primaries where you can slam them in there. So it's like, it's a lot of extra for very little payoff, and then tanks get massive rewards, you know, from going to R9. But it's just so not needed. Like, it's just not worth the investment for the most part.
It isn't. No. The barrier to entry is very high, and that's why many players that play this game will not Relic 9 anything that isn't a requirement for one legendary or another, right? So, and I completely understand that. Like, Relic 9 has become more accessible, but it's hardly an easy thing to do right now. So,
I mean, it's more accessible through the fact of attrition. Like we've been doing the new TBs, the TWs long enough that most people are accumulating droid brains at a decent enough clip and they're not spending them. So when you have to do like 2 R9s for the Leviathan, it wasn't that big of an ask for a lot of players because they haven't used an R9 mat since they did Radis. So they've had a year to get 40 more droid brains. Like that's
I've still got
for a lot of people.
190 droid brains right now.
Jeez, I'm down to 60.
I've got 11.
Oh, I'm down to 60. I didn't realize that. That's bad.
Yeah. So that's what it is. I still have plenty. Obviously, Karth has the most Relic 9s, so he has the least number of droid brains available.
That's fair.
Karth has more Relic 9s than I have Gear 13 characters, so...
I don't think that's true.
No, that's not quite true. That's not quite true. But probably more Relic 9s than I have Relic 8s. So.
I was about to say that. Yeah.
That one I could buy into.
Quite literally, yeah.
I want to say.
God damn it!
I have 41 R9s.
You have how many? Sorry.
41.
41 R9s. I'll just check my last hotbot. Let me have a look. Boop. I have got 23 Relic 8s. So nearly twice as many Relic 8s. You have, your Relic 9s is nearly twice as many as my Relic 8s. You have more Relic 9s than I have Relic 8s and 9s combined.
35 Relic 8s and 15 Relic 9s.
I have 41 Relic 9s and I have 89 Relic 8s.
I think that's actually before I Relic 9 both Kira and Leia. So that's probably 17 right now.
I have 104 R7.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. And I
have 60.
Cheers, everyone. Cheers.
I'm just going to uninstall the game now and...
well, like I said before,
go play Marvel Snap
I have 20 characters below R7 in my roster.
Yeah.
Well, technically, I guess it's 22 because Paz and Beskar Armor Gideon.
That's who it is. Sorry, I was having a look through our guild's account, like looking at guild's account, and there was it was Contingent had one more character than you at 7-star, and I was like, who the fuck has Contingent got at 7-star that Garth doesn't? And it's fucking Paz Vizsla.
Yeah, I don't wail on marquees, man, unless they're like
there's no real benefit
absolutely.
To doing that.
Oh, Contingent in your guild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's been a while.
Oh, okay.
The for me.
Okay. Sorry, piecing things together. All right. Anyways, moving on. Sorry.
Yeah, for me, it just doesn't make sense to do. No, I've completely lost my train of thought.
Your marquees, wailing on marquees.
Yeah. Because 9 times out of 10, they aren't impactful enough. Like I think Zori honestly was the last marquee that out the box made a massive difference to what was happening on that team, and I found it to be worth in getting her on board early and using her. But
I'm still waiting for you guys to say, "Where's your Zori scribe?"
I mean, don't you almost have her?
I'm saying nothing. My Zori is 3 stars. I'm saying
that's fine
then. Nothing. Yeah, I'm protesting Zori because she can go fuck herself.
I think I'm like 20 out of 100 shards on Zori or something. I'd love to have her, but I can't even gear her if I do star her up, so fucking who cares?
I mean, you just do it before Afro, right? You got plenty of time.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just kind of the thing is like most marquees aren't impactful enough, and especially when they do marquees like Paz, he's coming and built for a team that doesn't exist yet. So
yeah, exactly.
Why?
It's like if you're going to wail on him, you're going to have to wail on some more marquees to get Bo-Katan.
Yeah, Bo-Katan is the linchpin of the team. It's like without her, you got nothing. You got a character you paid an extra $200 for. It's like I don't really care about that. So I'm going to wait till he hits shipments, and then I'll probably shipment farm him, because I guarantee you I won't have enough time to hard farm him by the time the event comes out.
No, it's
so it's like
useless until he actually has his bow.
Yeah, and so that's completely fine. Like, I don't mind people who want to do it, go nuts, but it's just so rare that you have a marquee that actually, like, straight up out the box changes dynamically.
I think the biggest issue with that is just the way that relics work. You're gated by stars to get into relics or even gear 12, right? For the most part, apart from Hux. And without relic levels, you can't do datacrons. So marquee characters, if you're going to invest in them, you have to 7-star them and you have to take them to relics immediately. Otherwise, then that's just the nature of the game. We're not going to have any use out of them. So go back a couple of years. I say a couple. Go back 5 years. There were marquees that came out that were usable at 3-star, level 85, gear 11, and you could get use out of them, right?
Handing out Emperor's Trap. Amazing.
Marquees, like,
absolutely.
Like, there was a lot of characters that made massive impacts at low levels, and they just don't really do that anymore.
Yeah.
And so it's sad to kind of see a lot of that stuff. So it's just interesting to see the large scale impact on marquees. Like they did say in the chat, they're saying that Captain Rex kind of met that requirement, and I agree. Captain Rex did change it quite a bit, but in that caveat as well, for most people, it still wasn't worth the investment because you didn't have the rest of the team functional. I think Zori is a little bit different can of worms because you had to have all those resistance characters at like R5 minimum. So you had the team basically ready to go. All you had to do was throw on 2 Zetas.
And not many people had Relic 9 Phoenix.
Relic Phoenix. Besides R5 Hera, most
Relic
people
Phoenix,
are just sitting there at like gear 11 or 12 for the profundity stuff, and that was it.
I had gear 12 for the ships and I had Relic 5 on Ezra because he was decent pre-cam.
Yeah,
he still is. I mean,
he's decent damage.
Him and Kanan were still good
he's
Jedi.
Not terrible.
But that was the thing, is that there was just that it wasn't worth wailing on it if you didn't have the team available. That's the main thing I think that comes with that.
Oh, 100%. Like Nisa. Nisa's great for the Ewoks, but who the fuck has Ewoks? Cue all the Ewok lovers yelling at me, I have Ewoks here, they're great. Oh, the
Gerbil's going to come around your house now, Wolfie. He's coming around with his little spear.
I just can't be asked
a under-farmed faction, an under-geared faction that some few people actually have their Ewoks. So Nisa's great, but sorry.
I need someone to show me Ewoks with the current Kron beating something good, and then I will go through the effort of modding them good.
Oh man!
But until I see set
the bar, what's good? What would you consider to be good?
Yeah,
because some people would say, "Oh, it beats gas," but to me, like, it's just gas, man. Like, I have other counters that can beat gas. I don't need Ewoks to beat gas.
Oh yeah, no,
something
for sure.
significant.
Well, it needs to punch up against something like Reva, Malgus, Malicos. One of those teams is really what you're looking at, and I'll never see that happen. I don't think the Ewoks can do it because you're going to get stuck behind Malgus taunt, and he doesn't care about damage over times. So good luck.
In fact, you're just going to be feared the whole fucking time.
Well, that's they hit Malik, not Malgus, but yes. But then like Reva's going to start ahead of them anyways, no matter what, because of GI. And so that's going to immediately just lock somebody down, and the fight goes right to hell from right after that point.
Yeah.
And then it's like Malicos is just going to counterattack into the floor. Like Nisa hitting him 3 times. Great. You hit me for 10k each time. I'm going to smack you for 70 and then kill you. And so it's like, it's just one of those things where it's like, I just don't see the point in it. Like, she does a great job. Having Ewoks beat CLS, fantastic. But CG has done so many things that beat CLS now that it's just like, who cares? I don't need another counter for that.
CLS beats Jabba, guys, so he's not on defense.
Yeah, but that's my main point. Is like it's just you get these teams where it's like you counter something I already have 5 counters for. So why would I need to invest into that to make it work? I mean, even with the current cron, they're like all you're trying to do with the current cron is basically go, hey, you should try to Wampa this. And then Wampa gets wrecked because the damage output's so high. But it's just like you throw out anybody who deals with, I don't know, attacks out of turns, like a particular Imperial Trooper team that we've had for almost 2 years now. Get wrecked. Like the fight's over. Like, oh, look at that. Or I don't know, Tuskens. Hey, look, you gained turn meter. Hey, look, we gained a bunch of momentum. Oh, look, you stun locked yourself. Yay! Like it's just dumb things like that where it's like it's in the environment. I don't think it's going to change the needle, and it's really what annoys me about them trying to lift some teams up. Where it's just like it does improve them. They are much better with Kinesis. That's not what we're arguing here. It's just like they don't really add much to the end game rosters, unless you really want to throw.
And this is with a specific Nisa Datacron as well. So.
Yeah, it's like
take that away.
Who wants to throw 300 speed on Poplu? Like, who's going to commit that mod set there? Who's going to commit high?
There are a few.
I'm sure Xaereth is there. Like, yeah, I got it. Don't worry.
But that's where I'm at. I'm just like I can't wrap my head around the fact that it's just like I would have to downgrade so many teams to support the 5 Ewoks for Nisa. And then what do I get out of it? It's like I don't see the point. Like I don't care enough. And so the current Datacron's nice, it helps, but I don't think it's not even nearly as nutty as the Phoenix Cron. And I'm like, why not? Why is it 2% stacking offense? Like why isn't it 10%? Like why isn't it just them being stupidly good? Like it's a Datacron, it's gone in 4 months. Who gives a care? And it's just like, it doesn't really move the needle. So You get the revive. That's the cool part with the Nisacron, and that's it. Like you get a revive.
It is annoying. I faced it once. I was like, God, I just feel like I'm killing these Ewoks forever. But there we go.
Yeah, but just one trail later, and they all die anyways.
Okay, I am calling an end to Tribe Talks now, though. We've gone on far too long. You're rambling, men. You. God damn it.
Whoa,
Wolfie, I blame you. Mostly.
I blame you. You told people to put questions in the chat, and they did, and then we answered.
I was expecting them all to be silent. They're supposed to listen and not talk. God damn it, guys. That being said, make sure you put your questions in the Discord for next time. We could have a good discussion about it. Okay, guys? Cool. That'd be great. That would be great. All right. Let's have a sign-off. Wolfie, Garth, anything you want to say?
Look, the last time you asked me that question, we talked for like 20 minutes. So I'm going to say nothing except for have a fantastic evening. Scribbly Billy, my boy, it is a pleasure as always. Until next time.
No star. Cheerio, your dog father.
Dog father.
I like it because it contains all of the same letters. Good night, guys. Yes. Peace.